Okay, the last recording for the main class. Next two recordings are going to be Extra 1, which is going to be the original triangle of Shielder. Well, not triangle. Eh. Ruler, Avenger, Moon Cancer plus Shielder. And then that same week, we're going to knock out Extra 2, which is next triangle plus Beast, Foreigner, Alter Ego, Pretender, and again with the Beast class. Yeah, and then to end the year, just one more where I just talk about all the buffs that happen pretty much in November and December, and then videos like this are just going to be a monthly thing. So again, thank you for everyone that's been watching. All the tier lists this month, viewership went up a lot, but we still got a lot of growing to do. And hopefully, once again, I actually keep this momentum. It tends not to stay up that long, but oh well, live and learn. All right, so real quick, just going over this one more time. This is a Gacha tier list. All characters are being tested and analyzed at MP1. If I mention higher copies, it is to give an example. I'm not ranking MP5 characters compared to other MP5s, and it's MP1, 4, and 5 stars just because like even if you summon on a banner, you are not guaranteed to get the 4-star before you get the 5-star. You're not even guaranteed to get the 4-star. You might just do one multi, get the 5-star, and then you're out, and then you don't get another character. So that's the reasoning. Maxed out skills, mana loading, and skill reloading. This is just for numbers' sake, so I don't test weird numbers like level 7 skill because this mat isn't that common for people to have. Like that's a bullshit requirement because that literally depends on when someone starts the game, not based on how much. Is literally when you started. That some mats are just more available. Last thing, all Cs are tested at level 100. I know it's counter for like what I'm saying about servants, but you are more likely to have an MOB of like a permanent CE, like K-Scope or Black Rail, than you are realistically for any specific Gacha 5-star CE. Like how many people have MOBs for Chocolate Heaven versus how many people have an MOB of Prism of Cosmos. The people that played during that time have MOB Chocolate Heaven. The people that play FGO regularly would have MOB Prisma Cosmos. So that's that reasoning. EX, what they do extremely well. They're the only one that does it. Extremely niche, yada, yada, yada. This is the Berserker list. We're going to see this a lot. I'm sure going into this list, like everyone pretty much has in mind, like who like the EX farming Berserkers are. Yeah, it pretty much is them. But we're going to get into that. Characters that don't go into EX are going to go sit nice and pretty in A+, which I feel is pretty fair for them. A is for good servants, but they're beaten out. And because A+ is going to be like really, really like EX and A+ are just going to be crowded. So that is going to show that there's characters are probably going to be on either really good or not that good. Like there's probably going to be less servants in between. It's probably just going to be extremes. That's all I'm trying to say. C is usable. And then we go into extremely niche and don't use it all. These are Berserkers. I kind of don't feel they are at don't use it all, but we'll see. All right. Okay, so first, oof. Yeah. So first servant is going to be Herc. So This is a complicated topic because it does depend on if you have his Bonsi or if you don't. Um, yeah, so I think I have to just go with the assumption that yes, you do have Bond CE because before I did this list this year, I did have in it that like characters, if they could have an append skill, they have it. Um, this was for farming reasons, and yeah, I'm gonna note where he is without the Bond CE, and then with the Bond CE, just because it is two completely different feelings for Herc, whether he has it or not. All right. So Herc is the first 4-star Berserker that's listed here. Um, we're gonna be yeah. So TLDR, like Berserkers probably aren't gonna be that good all the way up until we start getting to pretty much Ku and Raiko. So we're first bit is gonna be a minute. So base attack 10.6k, very high for Berserkers. And again, let me just bring up Berserker stats to start off, so I don't have to repeat like Star Gen and shit. Berserkers have a 1.1 modifier, so they just do more damage innately than other classes. Base Star Gen's 5%, Star Weight's 10, and yeah. So if you don't understand that, basically casters do just naturally do less damage. Berserkers naturally just do more damage. MP gain 1.07, exactly like Jack the Ripper. Unfortunately, Herc's hit counts, bad. They are just bad. If he's solo, you can spam Mighty Chains and you can spam Buster Brave Chains. You can do it at your leisure. So the gains honestly aren't that bad, and if he's taking a whole lot of hits, like he is gonna get gained too. Yeah. Like Herc is pretty much known for his bouncy, and that's about it these days. 31% attack, mental debuff resistance 42% on a 5-turn cooldown. Second skill, Eye of the Mind False, dodge 1 turn, and 36% crit damage. This lasts for 3 turns. Out of these two skills, they have buffed Bravery before, but this was for Fergus. Oh no, they haven't buffed it. Okay, yeah, no, never mind. Bravery is not something they buffed, and I just need to double check if it's. I know True's been buffed, but not. No, False had to get buffed. Beniema. Yeah, Beniema got this buffed. Okay, so if Hurt gets buffed anytime soon, it's going to be his Eye of the Mind Falls. This is more likely than not going to happen. Or they buff his MP, because I'm pretty sure that's not buffed. Third skill is what makes Herc Herc. His battle continuation got upgraded. It's stackable with other guts. The guts from this skill. Every time a guts activates, he gets a 20% buster up for 5 turns. Doesn't matter if it's his guts or anyone else's. As long as a guts on him is popped, he gets buster. All the way until this comes back off cooldown. If you can keep this at 100% uptime, awesome. But most of the value, like, it's not going to last that long. That's Herc's, like, big thing. He is not meant to be like surviving for a super long period of time. Like he is, you anchor him and he is like finishing off whatever health is left for the enemy. He's not supposed to be like 1v1ing like a servant for the entire fight. He's like pretty much a cockroach. You just throw him in the back and just let him do his thing while he's by himself. Madness Enhancement B, 8% Buster, Divinity for Tickle. If you're, this is pretty much the one you just really need to care about. He's not that, you shouldn't be using Hurricane farming. His skill set just doesn't really support it. If he wants to be solo most of the time, so just upgrade this. His gains just get so much better and help his low hit counts a lot more. Gen a little bit more stars too. All right, MP 15 hit single target MP, reduces defense after damage. And finally, Bond CE. While you have it, you get 3 guts for Herc. So basically, with the dodge, the guts, and everything, he basically is very hard to kill for at least, I want to say, like 6 turns, and then you start needing outside help to keep him alive even longer. In terms of Berserkers, he is probably one of the biggest cockroaches out there. Yeah, like it... And again, we are counting this just Bond CE. So as I look through this other list, yeah, like in terms of cockroaches, it's between him and Ku Alter especially. Oh, yeah, and I noticed Lohi isn't here. I'll add Lohi later. But yeah, in terms of cockroaches, it's between these two. Ku Alter can play nice if you have teammates. He actually kind of can just like play nice. Herc does not play nice if you have teammates. He needs to pretty much be by himself, or you buff him up, send him to the back of the party, and he comes in at the end. Yeah. So he's going in A only because of like I don't want to say it's because of negative team synergy, but like as a soloer, he doesn't have the most buff kit, and there's pretty much like once he starts getting into like ramping up his damage, he's like embodying like Berserker mindset. He's just gonna he's gonna keep getting hit, get closer to death, and keep coming back. Good thing, but he's gonna run out of steam eventually. He cannot keep that up forever. And because he's pretty much only good in solos or when he's by himself, it does like bring up the case of like how much are you going to be using him. I think he's really good with his Bond CE, and that's why I'm placing him in A. But like definitely anyone that's used Herc and he does not have his Bond CE, he's easily B or C. In terms of Berserkers, like right now they're just a lot better than Herc at what he does, especially because he has 0 crit synergy. He needs it given to him. Yeah, so I'm gonna put him in A. Lancelot. Okay, so if you're not using him with Scotty, why are you? He's in pretty much a don't use at all. Like he needs Scotty, and you need to be farming, and you also need Black Rail. So I like, and I know I'm doing this before I even look at the character, but I'm just gonna be honest. I think people like overhype the shit out of Lancelot. I really think people overhype the shit out of this guy. Especially if we are talking about MP1, I don't think people understand how bad like his refund can possibly get if he's at again MP1. If we're talking MP2 or anything higher, it gets a lot better. But MP1, he needs to get as many hits of overkill as possible, and that's not going to be happening easily. Again, especially if you're not using Black Rail. If you are, again, A lot easier. If you're not, pain. But we are going to be showing the numbers on this. So, Lancelot. Also really, really high attack. 10.4k, almost 10.5. Oh, wait. There are more people that had the insane... Why'd they get rid of it? Or they just not want to give it to Berserkers because it makes them harder to buff? It's probably both. Alright. MP charge, 0.5%. Big pain point for him. Like, if his base gain were, like, 1... I get, like, again, this one, like, kind of doesn't make sense because it's, like, solely the MP of why this is this bad. But, like, it's not like we had Scotty in the first place. So, again, hold him back for no reason. Bad hit counts, they're literally the same as Herc's. Like, his cards are... Lancelot's cards are Herc, but worse. Simple. Moving on. First skill, what Lancelot is, like, besides his desire for married women, Eternal Arms Mastery is what he is known for, especially in Fate 0. Any weapon he picks up is his Noble Phantasm. He uses it as if he's the original wielder. This is a standard that is held by very few servants. It's just him, Melisande, Raiko. They are, like, the gift, like, the born warriors. Second skill, Star Gen, 30%. Why is this only 30%? Third skill, MP Gen, 100%. And then crit damage, 50% for 3 turns. Yeah. Looping with him can be annoying. It's damn near close to Buster farming. Except, like, this one MP gain skill, like, kind of stops him from needing, like, more charge than he already does need. Magic Resist E, 10% debuff resist. Mad Enhancement C, 6% Buster up. You'll want mana loading just for battery breakpoints if you're, depending on where you're starting from, 20, 50, you're using your bride or not, stuff like that. Skill reloading this is not going to matter. There's no way you're getting enough cooldown to get this back off cooldown unless you're using Vitch, in which case, why the fuck are you using Vitch with Lancelot? I know he has 3 Buster cards, but no. So many other better servants than Lancelot. Like, look at this shit. He's not double stacking any damage except crit. No. Keep Vitch out of here. MP, 10 hit, AoE quick. Increases the attack base 10 all the way to 30. Activates first, though, so he does have ramp up. But, yeah. Bond CE, MP damage up 30. And an on-attack debuff. Chance to inflict crit attack chance down by 10% for 3 turns when you normal attack. So, time for the maths. I'll be back in a second. Yeah. Okay, so I never said that his, like, looping, his farming was bad. It's just, if you don't have Black Rail, this is just gonna be a problem, right? That's essentially it. Because, like, we see here, like, again, this is Black Rail with Oberon versus Super Scope, but that's a 4 times different. I just had to make sure of that. In most cases, the difference between Super Scope and Oberon Black Rail is not usually times 4 like that extreme. I'm just trying to see if there's an example of it here. Probably Artoria. Yeah, like, even though it's not Black Rail, it's like my Rising Mudrain. This is still Artoria with Super Scope. Is there a quick example? Because, like, this gap is not times 4, it's times 3. I don't know if I'm actually gonna find a super. Oh, Bradamante, right here. Okay, here to here. Yeah, even with a 5-star, it's not a ×4 difference. It's at most like ×3. Even that is lower. Rikyu, yeah, Rikyu with Cherry Ice Skull did damages ×2. So the real issue is that Lancelot has not gotten any fucking buffs since his release. I did do the calcs. There was no contest of whether he was going to loop or not. He was. You could see here what he loops with his 100% MP gain up, 35% on casters. Sorry. Yeah, and 320,000 neutral. Again, this is a negative modifier, so it's not even where it should be, but it is when I'm testing here. Yeah. So, but Lancelot, all he can do is farm. That is it. Like, yes, he can have some good crits. I'm not gonna deny it. If you're using double ruler Scotty, of course his buster cards are gonna hit very hard. Like, I'm not going to deny that. But if you're gonna use a farmer that's also going to crit, why aren't you just gonna use a farmer that has more crit in their kit? So yeah, like, he is, like, don't get me wrong, he is good for when you get him, but you absolutely need 2 Scotties, and you absolutely need Black Rail. Again, does it actually show? Yeah, again, it does show it. Triple Scotty, 300,000. Lancelot with Super Scope, 100,000. It's not like, again, these are Berserker numbers, so they're all 1.5. So even this 310,000 Lancelot has is really 200,000 neutral. It's not as crazy as some of these numbers would look. They are a little inflated. So just need to put it out there. Any AoE Berserker is going to be good for farming, as long as there's no foreigners. All right. Toki. Yeah, I am not. A lot of people say, like, he's still, like, one of the best, like, 4 lottos. I just don't agree with it. I get people care about speed and lottos, but if time is not your limiting factor, which I know it's a lotto and a lot of people are trying to do as many runs as possible, but a lot of people don't do lottos without some kind of way to keep going, even if they're tired. I'm not gonna say directly what it is. If you know, you know. So, like, most of the time, like, people aren't caring about run efficiency, like how long this run takes, like how many seconds can I shave off, versus them just farming to, like, level up bond levels for characters, because that is the direction Lasagna seems to be taking right now. So for me, Kentoki, who hasn't really gotten buffed, same as Lancelot, it's hard for me to recommend people summoning for this character, especially because of Summer Castoria. Summer Castoria, I think, just does his role, and she can also do it multiple times in a run. Like, Kentoki, if you only have one wave with a single target, sure. Summer Castoria, like, pretty much is just better if you have more than one, because Kentoki's not getting back to his MP unless you're basically brute forcing the charge, number one. And he also provides no party utility. Summer Castoria definitely does. Just dropped something. Yeah. Summer Castoria definitely is giving team utility. So, base attack 12.7k, good. HP 12.1k. He has more attack than he does HP. Sounds about right. Still one of the best Final Ascension artworks. Like, I'm completely straight, but that guy is like jacked like most anime characters. Star weight, star gen, Berserker numbers, MP charge 1.03. Same hit counts as Herc and Gentoki, slightly worse than Herc. So it's like, yeah, it's literally the same. 1 turn attack, 50% attack buff, good. Good that his base is so high. Animal dialogue, 50% battery, that's it. Natural body, debuff resistance, offensive debuffs only, 3k heal. That's all his skills. We're done already. Madness enhancing E for Buster performance. Pen. This is only for lottos that you care about this pen. It makes your life just so much easier if you have this unlocked. And you can literally start using him out the get-go for a lotto as long as you have mana loading maxed out. You don't have to worry about extra copies. You can get this, but okay. So there is a chance you can double stack his 50% attack buff, which is pretty cool if you do it. The issue is it has to be on the turn that you're resetting his cooldowns. You have to be resetting the entire cooldown for his skill. And that's only going to work for 1 turn. So that's getting skill reloading situationally good. He does have a buffed MP. Damage to 1 enemy, 1 hit 2. Pierces defense, Buster res down after damage. Only lasts for 2 turns. Unfortunate. Why is it only 2? I mean, like, it's not that bad of an issue that this isn't 3 turns, especially because he's not usually staying around for that long. And then a 50% chance to stun. Or not him staying around, there's no need for him to stay around. His Hankyo outfit, awesome. Love that shit. Bond CE, 30% MP damage, and chance to give himself a 5% battery whenever he attacks. Yeah. I'm sorry, a lot of people that like him, he's solid at what he does, but that's all he can do at all. Like, it's like not a case of he does one role and he does it really well. He does one job really good, and that's the only job he can do. Yeah. I think Kentoki is good. I think there's value in having him, but he is nowhere close to EX. Okay. So, in terms of the single targets, though, like I know these earlier Berserkers haven't been that appealing, but out of the year 1 Berserkers, this is one that shines. But it's mostly because of how many buffs he's gotten. Berserker Vlad from APOC. Lancer Vlad from APOC, but now as a Berserker. 11.49. Like, this is basically the midpoint for all 5 stars. HP, pretty good for 5 stars. MP charge 0.5%, just like Lancelot, but Unfortunately, they all have the same hit counts on their cards. He just has 2 of them. So he traded one Berserker, Buster card for an Arts card, and I mean his game didn't suffer that bad for it. Let's be honest. Yeah, first skill, the best version of this skill because it's an actual 30 battery. All of the assassins got placed. All of the assassins that had this skill, but at the lower value, literally went into the wrong category because it felt so bad. It genuinely feels so bad when they're like this close to the 50 and like no. Game just says no because all of them were Buster servants. It's like quick can't get away with it unless quick can't get away with it unless the battery is not tied at all to refund at all. Like there's no and like they're not even going to be the ones starting popping battery to get to their max. Like theirs is strictly to clean up where they're not looping. And even still, it needs to be a good battery for that. Yeah, second skill buffed. It was just shapeshift defense 24% for 3 turns. Now it is 30% attack and defense for 3 turns on a 5-turn cooldown. Third skill, guts 1 time 1 turn. This is stackable with other guts. Gives himself another guts. This one 1 time 5 turns. So basically if he if he dies, like he's good this turn. And then he'll still have another guts for later. If he doesn't die, oh well, it'll just go away. And he still has another guts. Also, he gets 30% MP gen for 3 turns, and this is the magic number for pretty much any looping servant. They all want that 30%. Madness Enhancement EX, 12% Buster up. And you definitely want mana loading. Skill reloading too, but not nearly as much. And yeah, this is a servant that has gotten their MP buffed twice. They were afraid of a single target Arts Berserker in year 1. They gave them really low damage. They buffed the MP, and all they did was make it normal MP buff damage. Then they buffed it again. And yeah, Arts res down 20% for 3 turns after damage, unfortunately, but at least he has ramp up. Bonsi, 30% MP damage, and another one where he can charge his MP by normal attacking. Yeah, so Vlad, a few years ago he would have been an EX, but now he can't go in there. Still super solid. Like I like him better than I like Kentoki. Like I like Vlad a whole lot more than I like Kentoki. That's kind of just how it be. But he is not the best single target Arts anymore. All right, next up we go all the way to Tomomo Cat. Yeah, so Tomomo Cat and Fran. Both of them are getting placed. And I'm just going to do this at the same time. If you do not have Alco, if you don't have Alco that can mitigate the stuns on their MPs, I honestly want to put them in D or don't use it at all. Yeah. Yeah, right now both of these two characters are going in D. They're not, don't use at all because they're berserkers. You can still use them. But Fran compared to Lancelot is definitely at least 2 tiers. Like the extra steps you have to jump through, um, yeah, the extra steps you have to jump through to get either Fran or Tomomo Cat to do looping at all is just too much. And they need to be looping because their kids are like, what else are they supposed to be doing? Their MP is going to stun them. So why, like, it's not like either one of them has like super high crit synergy to the point that they could avoid using the MP either. So we're gonna go through this relatively quick. Like that's kind of how this list is gonna go. Some of these characters just don't need the super long explanations that writers or casters get, especially assassins. Especially assassins, I went way too long on some of these. So yeah, this is just gonna be quick looping, summary, and then we're gonna get to it. When I do the math here, yeah, I'm just gonna show both of them at the same time. So Tomomo Cat, if you like her, if you like her, you like her. If you think she's crazy, you're not far off. 9.0, yeah, pretty much 9K on the dot, and also low HP to go with it. Better hit counts than we've seen before, but not by that much. But it is like a definite step up from Herc and Lancelot. First skill, monster strength, 2-turn, 30% attack up. Second skill, still a chance to drain at 60%. Bad. 1 attack, 5 turns, invul. Bad skill, terrible fucking skill. And to believe it used to be worse, the skill needs to be double buffed. Oh my, that like, and that's a big issue with Cat. She got terrible buffs. She got really bad buffs. Third skill, it was just a morph, 27% defense for 3 turns. Now it's 27%. Defense didn't change, max HP. But she does have something that is a step up from Fran, and that's she actually has debuff immunity to stop her MP from stunning her at least one time. That is the one advantage Cat has. However, Cat doesn't have any damage. So you trade being able to use your MP again easier for not having damage. Mana loading, again, this completely depends on how you're using her, but again, you have to jump through so many hoops for both Fran and Tomo Cat. I kind of don't even want to calc it. Like, Fran is here. Yeah, it's like basically when characters needed to use BB, you just use Alco and you just do more damage. Yeah, like, and because they have to go through so many hoops, it's not like they're doing black rail damage either. I know, like, my list is like a lot heavier weighted towards if characters can use black rail or not. I know that's what it looks like, but the nodes are getting significantly higher. So if characters aren't able to do black rail damage, usually that means you have to your party cost is going to be so high to make up for the fact that the base damage is low. That's my reasoning for it. And because all these characters are MP1, this is also the case where you would need to be stacking as many higher tier supports as possible. So the small issues characters would have are far more apparent at MP1 than they would be at any other MP copy. Sorry for that being long-winded, but that's just the justification here. Yeah. MP, 5-hit AoE quick. Chance to stun 2 turns, but again, you mitigate it. Recovers her own HP 3k, lasts her 3 turns. She heals pretty good, but there's, unless you're using Reigns to like give her, like, make her not be a Berserker, there isn't that much reason for a Berserker that can heal like this. Like, there is no case of a Berserker taking neutral damage from enemies except from like beasts and non-normal classes. So why do you need a Berserker that heals like this? Fran, I kind of want to say this, like, the same things, because again, like, this list, it does show that Fran's hitting 115,000 damage. That means he's only hitting 100,000 neutral. No battery, only has MP gain, no charge per turn. It makes some of these characters, like, it just isn't fair, but life isn't fair for a lot of these characters. I do think Alco is just a better support than BB easily, for like any servant that's like this, cat included. But yeah, keep going. So Fran 9.4k, so slightly higher attack. HP a lot lower at 10.6. MP charge 0.83% with the same hit counts as Lancelot and all these other year 1 Berserkers. MP Gen up 45% for 3 turns. Chance to stun, defense down 30%. The chance to stun is is pretty low for a skill. Third skill, 30% MP damage. Chance to inflict burn for 300 damage, but this is literally nothing. Mana loading, sure. Skill loading doesn't really matter. NP has been buff. AoE 6 hit. Damage to all enemies. Chance to stun herself. Reduce crit attack chance by 20% for 3 turns. Okay, so I actually take this back. I think Fran actually goes in C. I actually don't think these two should be on the same level. Because, like, Cat literally cannot loop as well as Fran. I don't know why I thought of putting them on the same tier. I think it was the stun. But no. Fran, definitely, number-wise, like, okay, yeah. Like, real quick. This is only going to be a one-wave example, so that's why I'm showing this here. No Oberon either. Pop everything. Doesn't matter. She doesn't have mana loading. That's not what we're testing here. %40 here. Oh, sorry, that's MP2. No. 80%. Huh? Wait. Okay, so that is definitely something to note. Fran. Okay, yeah, actually, full test on this. So I don't feel like testing Cat anymore. She is a tanky AoE quick, but do not try to use her in farming. Fran, there is actual reason to use her in farming, but her stun is too much of a demerit. But Alco is a thing. We have Alco in the game. And I think with Alco, Fran actually just might be able to loop. Yeah. Okay. So yeah, my feelings about Quick has always been that charge per turn is always stronger on Quick than it is any other class. It shows like really, really hard with Fran here. Um, 302,000 damage. With a negative class modifier too. Okay, yeah, so Fran really is Lancelot just with extra steps. Like, she can use Black Rail, but only against casters, pretty much. That is what it looks like here. It's mostly she's getting away with it because these are casters. Technically, all she needs, the lowest she can go is 26%. So yeah, I would hesitate even trying to do this on any other class. And again, this is Black Rail. If you start with 50, a lot easier. In fact, like starting from 50, it just probably would just work better for Fran. But this would only scale up with MP copies. The easier it is for Fran to get overkill, just the better. So yeah, glad I just double checked that. And yeah, probably gonna take a break when we hit Atlanta. All right. Beowulf. Yeah, so this recording, I am just gonna split it up. I'll come back like at the end of the day, like later in the day, to finish this recording. Probably, maybe, I don't know. We'll see. It might just be a small break. All right, Beowulf. 10.2 attack. Sorry, 10.2k attack. 10.3k HP. This is barely higher. Just barely. Not... Yeah, stage 3 is like being affected by the curse more. I get it. MP charge 0.68%. Hit counts look so much better. We're starting to get into the modern shit. 3 hit on quick, 3 hit on art, hits, 3 hits on arts and quick, 1 hit on buster, 4 hit extra attack. Like, a lot better balanced. My chains just look a lot better. First skill is a mana burst, 30% attack, 20% MP damage for 1 turn. We've seen Oni Charisma where this just flat out lasts for 3 turns and it's on the same duration, so probably needs a buff. Second skill, Star Weight, 5,000% for 1 turn, 50% crit damage, and a Star Bomb. Third skill, Guts, 1 time 4 turns, crit damage of 50%, 3 turns. Power mod against Dragon, power mod against a Giant on a 6-turn cooldown. Madness enhancement E minus, so he's a very lucid Berserker. Barely a Berserker at that point. Mana loading, sure. Depends on where you use him. Probably not using him in single core farming, so extra attack probably you'd see the most benefit. NP, Single target 12 hit Buster MP, damage to one enemy, ignores evasion, crit attack chance down for 3 turns at 30% base number, all the way up to 50. He is generically good. That's all I can say about him. He is generically good. He doesn't do anything crazy. Yeah. Nightingale. She got a really good buff. And she kind of needed it before Merlin got his buff. So this is a Buster Esports 5-star unit. She's gonna drop Buster up crit stars, and then she's gonna dip out without you really needing to taunt her. She doesn't need her MP. Yeah. 1.1k attack, 15k HP, very tanky for Berserker, but still Berserker. MB charge, 0.77%, but 0.5% on the quick card, just because her quick card just would have so much more gain than her 2-hit arts cards, and a 5-hit extra attack. First skill, heal, 4k, debuff immunity 3 times 3 turns, insta-kill immunity 1 time 3 turns, and this is targetable. Second skill, power mod against humanoid enemies, defense up against humanoid enemies, which is pretty much all servants. Would be really, like, she'd be a nasty support if she made this targetable, because it would not be the same. Okay, just have to preface that of, like, someone thinking, oh, she's just Vitch but a Berserker. No, she's definitely not Vitch as a Berserker. And even if you made this targetable, that wouldn't make her Vitch. Vitch gives power mods against human and man attribute, things that really matter in farming. Humanoid is specifically you are fighting a boss, because most bosses are servants, and this just pretty much hits all of them. Like, there are very few servants that, yeah, it even says that all servants have humanoid trait except these 7. These 7 playable servants. While Vitch has a mod that doesn't even work against servants unless it's part of the story, and then another mod that only hits at most a third, but it's not even a third. So yeah, they make this targetable. Nightingale really just goes up in value, and she also gets easier to kill if you accidentally pop this skill. Third skill, Buster up 50%, crit damage of Buster cards up 30% for 3 turns, and 20 crit stars. So again, is this Vitch level? No, but is it, like, nice that we have more servants giving shit like this out for 3 turns? Absolutely. Before it was just a Buster buff, but at least it was for 3 turns. Madness Enhancement EX, 12% Buster up. Doesn't really matter what you get for her here. Right now, she's not a farmer. She's not a solo servant. She's not the one that you're supposed to be clicking cards for. She's use her skill and just wait for her to die. So I wouldn't worry too much about any of this. NP, if you happen to get to it, 50% attack down for all enemies, party cleanse, heal, and you reduce the enemy MP by 50% too. The issue with Nightingale is, why would you ever want to reduce how much damage you can take with an MP when you can use Castoria and not take damage at all? Like, Nightingale kind of works if you're basically fighting someone that Solemn Defense does not work against, aka you're fighting one of the Hakunos. Other than that, there really isn't much reason to have to be using this MP offensively. Like, using this part of it, yeah, no, that's fine. You just won't be taking damage that turn. I get this part. This one, like, you timing this before an MP, like, what are you doing? Like, why? So, Nightingale, even though she's like one of the very few support berserkers on this list, I do think this recent buff, or most recent one, like that 50% buster, the crit stars and the star bomb, I think that does put her in A. Again, the reason she doesn't go higher is because it is only buster up and that's it. Chang Gong, his buffs are only one turn, but he gets pretty much the same value. So you can kind of play around that for his setups. And he is a free unit. That's kind of one of the issues too. And why I'm glad she got her buff. Yeah, like the other berserkers that I have on this list that are supportive, they are also offensive too. So, like, she is purely supportive as a berserker, and that hurts her. While the other berserkers that are supportive, like Lohi, are also very offensive. Like, Lohi is probably one of the most supportive berserkers on here besides Nightingale, and she still has an offensive MP. And again, I know she's not on here. I'll put Lohi on here later. Ku Alter, the 5-star cockroach. This guy is another buff. I'm gonna just be real. His skills are like whack as shit. I don't know why they didn't give him offense. Like, I know he has it on his MP, but you're still asking for a solo servant to be MPing to have offensive and defensive buffs. I think that's a little too far. 12.8k attack, awesome for a 5-star. Really good numbers. This is where a lot of the 5-star berserkers sit that are on the higher end. 12.2k HP is what it is. MP charge 0.69, nice. And just like modern ass fucking hit counts. 4 hits on quick, 3 hits on arts, 5 hit extra attack, and even 3 hits on the buster cards. So they can gen some amount of stars, just not a lot. First skill, attack chance. Oh no, reduce all enemies' attack 20%, and then reduce their crit chance by 50% for 3 turns. So just a solid skill, just to like not mitigate a lot of damage. Like for berserkers, like this is like, okay, we have free reign now, because like most of the time, berserkers die to a straight crit. This is like pretty much one of the ultimate no crits here. Crit's not gonna happen, and if it does happen, it's gonna do less damage. And even if it doesn't happen, it's still taking less damage. Second skill, PFA, dodge 2 attacks, 14% defense up for 3 turns, and there is no duration for these dodges. This is why when I was talking about Herc, I was saying that he doesn't play nice. Herc doesn't play nice if you have allies on the field. Definitely not the case for Ku Alter. If this was 2 attacks like 1 turn, 2 attacks 3 turns, even 2 attack, yeah, no. After that, it starts getting ridiculous. But yeah, like he is absolutely fine to be in a team of like people, of them just buffing. It's not gonna affect his survivability at all. Like he just wants to stall out for as long as possible, and he'll be able to stall out fairly well and just not take damage. Battle continuation. This is like out of all his skills, his guts needs to get buffed ASAP, because like battle continuation like is barely a thing in this game. Like there are not that many servants that have it. Like if you look at it, 1, 2, 3, 4. 4 servants that have battle continuation out of like the 20. And I don't know why he has taken this long. He should have gotten this buff a long time ago, honestly. He needs. I don't want to say he needs Herc's guts because he doesn't. It should be like more like if his dodges go away, he gets a buff. Like I think that would be more cool for Ku Alter. Like he gets a buster buff like when his dodges go away. Madness Enhancement EX, but it's really C, 6% buster up. And yeah, definitely get extra attack. His MP is what has really carried this guy, along with his protection from arrows. Removes all defensive buffs on the enemy, activates first, and then his overcharge is a scaling attack and defense buff. Both activate first and go from 30% to 70%. And if we're doing our Buster Brave chain, the better this OC, the more damage you're doing straight out. Bond CE 30% MP damage and in other guts, and this is 20%. So yeah, I can definitely see Ku Alter getting the stackable with other guts buff to this battle continuation, some kind of buster buff too, maybe something that has to do with his dodges because Ku characters are pretty much synonymous with protection from arrows. I think Satanta is like the only one that's not like that. But yeah. I think they're on the same level at this point. Herc and Ku Alter. Yeah, like I don't think they're that different for survivability. They just have different play styles. You can anchor Ku Alter, but that kind of doesn't. He doesn't want to be the anchor. He doesn't want to be by himself. He wants other people to be like taking the hits, so he can just outlast everyone. Unlike an anchor that is spamming extra attacks like crazy, and taking advantage of the turn mechanics for the game. All right. Next up, oh yeah, I'm just starting to fly through these. I really just need to make sure I'm not treating these like actual videos. Next up, we have Raiko. And I'm for people that have watched my content for a while, I'm sure you're gonna be surprised where I place Raiko. I'm sure it's gonna be surprising. I'm sure it's gonna be surprising if you don't watch my usual stuff. And I promise you, my ranking has absolutely nothing to do with appearance. This is strictly gameplay, even though I like Raiko's design. Do like the big bobas. Don't get me wrong. I like him, but she's not getting a replacement because she looks good. Or because I think she looks good. Because I know a lot of people like Raiko is literally the one that people take shit with FGO for characters design. Yes, it's a very anime aesthetic. Why are people complaining about anime body figures? We all know this isn't realistic. No one is trying to look like Raiko. Are you actually fucking kidding me? This kind of body could not exist on a real woman, realistically, without serious back problems and also probably surgeries. If real women do look like this, awesome. But I'm pretty sure they're not flaunting their shit as much as Raiko doesn't think she's doing. 11.5k attack, 13.5k HP. Normal Berserker numbers here. MP charge 0.46% with 4 at arts cards. The number kind of looks low, but Raiko is pretty much guaranteed to be critting on all these cards. Actually, she is guaranteed to crit on most of her cards So even this gain, it's pretty much a lie. This is gonna be a crit. So even yeah, this is just good value. Most Berserkers, they're not balanced around them critting. Raiko 100% is balanced around critting. First skill, Imperial Eternal Arms Mastery. What was the Lancelot skill, but Raiko's the one that actually has it buffed. Oof. Star weight. Oh yeah, and not only does she also has it as a higher value too. So like Lancelot, step aside. 6,000% star weight from just straight up, not even tied to a card. So again, all of Raiko's cards are going to crit. It's not just the Buster. The Buster cards will just have even more star weight to them in like Vich farming teams. But literally all the stars on the field belong to Raiko. Especially when she's like roided out with the other Buster star weight. No other character is stealing stars from her. Except unless they're getting the star weight 2 of this level, like a Melson or Lancelot. Then they're going to take the stars from Raiko. But like 6,000% star weight from any other class but a Berserker is pure overkill. Also, 60% crit damage for 3 attacks, 3 turns. I know that sounds like, why is this like hit based? But if you think about it in farming, especially with Vich, you're not going to use this up. Like, why would you be critting in your farming if you're using Vich? And if you do need to crit, this crit damage is probably going to save you from moving on, like, getting stuck in the wave. The crit will probably help you. Yeah. Second skill, 30% Buster for 3 turns. Dodge for 1 turn and a 30 battery. This was her buff. This is what allows her to do her farming, and has definitely changed my perspective on other characters. Third skill, 50% power mod against demonic enemies for 3 turns. This is pretty much all trash mobs. Power mod against servants with earth or sky attribute for 3 turns. 50% crit damage. So, just like Tesla, she essentially has 50%, sorry, not even 50%, 100% power mod against pretty much every single servant except Star and Beast attribute. Raiko has, because if you're Vich farming, she's going to have 100% man attribute, and now she has 100% in either Earth or Sky. So no matter, like, the traits do not overlap at all, but they instead just paint a bigger picture. It's like Raiko does not get any crazy 200%, but she does get a consistent 100%. I think that's just awesome. And again, she's double stacked. Like, also demonic power mods for trash mobs and human enemies for trash mobs. Raiko just like has what she needs to just like farm shit and not worry. Like most things that other servants would get stuck on, it just really doesn't matter to her at that point. Magic resist D, 12%, 12.5% debuff res. Madness enhancement EX. She confuses familiar love with partner love. If you know, you know. Riding A+, quick performance up 11%. Moving on, you need mana loading. If you want skill reloading, you can get it, and it's gonna let you do this pop this skill on turn 2 instead of 3. But for final boss servants, that doesn't matter that much. It's just like you get the demonic a turn sooner, which might be important or it might not be. It just depends on the node. MP, 7 hit Buster AoE, damage to all damage to all enemies. Crit attack chance down 20% for 3 turns. Increases Buster star gen 100% base, activates first. This is why she always crits, because her MP is a fucking star bomb. And then you have Vitch and Oberon that also have the star bombs. Like if Raiko has cards, she is critting. She is always going to have crit stars. Last thing, Buster Up, and then 15% crit damage for the party. Chat. So you know, like, who immediately gets brought up in this conversation. But Morgan is a special case, and her synergy with Koyanskaya can literally not be understated. So if you have to do man attribute, you're probably bringing Morgan, let's be honest. But if the node is mixed, or you don't know what the node structure is, who are you taking? Raiko or Juno Alter? Now, I will get into my reasonings for this later when it comes time for Juna. But after using Juna on JP, and definitely have been using him for a while, I noticed when you can't bring him to fights or when he starts struggling. And when Juna starts struggling, you feel it so hard. You notice Juna's fall off so goddamn hard. It's like for Juna, this is the ceiling, this is the floor. You can't even see where the floor is. Raiko. Here's the ceiling. Here's the floor. You'll note, and I'm not holding this this thing up. I'm not holding this for no reason. Like, the placement matters. Like, yes, Raiko's like top damage is probably not gonna outpace Juna. Let's just be honest. It's probably not gonna happen. However, Raiko's floor is like literally node structure, or not even node structure. Like, Raiko's floor is just Raiko's floor. But Juna's floor is the enemy does not get debuffed, and then you have a huge fucking problem with him. Yeah, sorry for the ramble, but that's really what I was gonna go to. But yeah, it's a case of whether the debuff lands or not. Raiko, her buff makes it so she does not have to worry about this. So, yeah, not even A+. She's going in EX. I think Raiko is, at this point, better than Arjuna Alter. I truly, utterly believe this. Like, I know he can double stack attack buffs, and Raiko can't. Yeah, that does affect damage just a little bit. I'm not gonna lie. Raiko not having an attack buff, it sucks for Buster farming. But she's also supposed to be critting. And if you want to use Raiko for and give her more Buster buffs, just bring attack buffs for non-farming. But in farming, the attack buffs aren't the biggest deal. And I do believe, yeah, no, this isn't. Oh no, this is showing. This is showing with her most recent buff. Base case assuming no P-Broad. Yeah. Yeah, Jord even listed it here. One niche being hit. One niche being hit is 433,000. But most of the time, you're only going to get one niche. And I'm assuming it is, yeah, it's the 50% power mod. It's always going to be doubled. Yeah, Raiko's coverage is just universal. Juna has very high turn 1 and 2 in comparison. Yeah, no, his turn 2 is significantly higher. I'm not gonna underplay that. Juna's burst is like very high. But at the same time, Raiko's can peak pretty high too. Oh yeah, yeah. It also said that here. 133k if you hit niche. And honestly, if you're farming trash mobs, there's a pretty good chance you're. Oh right, and this is also not counting skill reloading. So if you hit demonic, the gap I think closes a lot because then you'd be getting 50%, 100% on demonic. Yeah. This gap is just, it's not misleading, but there isn't enough data for it. I feel there just needs to be more entries, and that's why I'll be working on that later. But yeah, I think Raiko is just better than Juna. I truly just think that. All right, time for the list to get canceled because I don't think Juna is the best servant up there. All right. One, two, three, four, five. Okay, 6 more, and then I'll see whether or not I'm going to be taking a break or not. Banana Oni. 9.6k attack, 10.9k HP. Yeah, not the biggest fan of Banana Oni, but Genji related, so I am interested in the story. And I think our story with Suna was pretty touching. MP charge 1.03%. Still better hit counts than Herc and like just year 1. Not by much, but still better. Like 5 hit extra attack. The quick card has 2 more hits than they had. So Brave Chains for her do look better. First skill, 20% attack for the party, 30% MP damage for herself for 3 turns. Targetable cleanse, 2.5k heal, crit damage up 100%. If you have Shuten, if you target, no. So if you have Shuten on the field and it's caster or assassin, it's not Ibuki. Shuten gets a 30% attack buff, and if Shuten is on the field, Ibaraki also gets a 20% battery. So is it super practical? Not really, no. But it's nice because she is Shuten's right hand. Even if Shuten loves teasing the shit out of her. 30% defense for 1 turn and another 30% on top of it. She has a battery, but not a really good one. And it's only if Shuten's on the field. So you're probably not using her for farming. But, like, probably a boss fight. And she has the MP for that. Don't get me wrong. Damage to 1 enemy, even 1 hit, but removes all their buffs. And defense down with OC. Bond CE 20% buster up. Yeah, so this character is pretty bare bones. Yeah, pretty damn bare bones. The main reason to use this character in a boss fight is for the buff strip. She's a buster servant. Just use Vitch and you can bust her crit, and it doesn't matter. Yeah. I would definitely put her on the same level as Beowulf. 100%. You can use them pretty much the same. One has buff strip, the other just hits like a fucking truck. because he actually got a buffed MP. Yeah, like if you notice, like my Berserker list, I don't really care about damage that much. All these characters are going to be effective, and most Berserkers are busters, so you just use Vich, and they have 3 buster cards that are roided out. Like, what more do you need than that, honestly? Oh yeah, and I take it back. It's not 6, it's 4, because Cha-Cha is a welfare. All right, MHX. If you are fighting sabers, she's her own category. The same goes for Musashi, by the way. They're in their own category if they're fighting sabers, because they just get free fucking damage. But MHX as a Berserker, where are we sitting? 11.1k attack, 14k HP. MP charge 1.07, 3 hits on quick, 2 hits on art, 4 hits on buster, 5 hit extra attack. Upstairs looks good, but not like amazing. Like we see like better hit counts on other characters. Like her buster card just has too many hits, but it's lightsaber shit. She's kind of like one where like I'm not one to like give passes for animations, but it's a lot of Star Wars references. They kind of get a pass for hit count animations on that. For me, just saying, for me, they get the pass. Like Echan gets the pass of why some of these are lower hit counts. Like would have really liked these to be 4 hits, like Swap, Buster, and Quick. All right, first skill, and also Echan has been buffed a lot, and we're just waiting for that last buff. Healing received for 3 turns, up 50%. 2k heal and 1k heal every turn, so this is really a 3k heal and a 1.5k each turn heal. Crit damage up for each card type 1 time, 30%. They didn't want to just give her flat out crit damage. Like this was one of her earliest buffs. If they decide to double buff this skill, sure, but this was never a damage skill, so they don't need to keep buffing damage. They just need to give her other skill buff. They buff up the damage skill. Buff up the actual damage skill. Second skill, 30% quick for 3 turns, 20 stars. Kills one ally's star weight or reduces it by 100% for 1 turn. This does not mean they don't have star weight. It just means that if they're at 100, their star weight's 50 this turn. Yeah, that's not how star weight works. It's not like attack where if you reduce someone's attack by 100%, they do no damage. No. That not for star weight here. Also, it's a 20% charisma. Buff this skill. I get what they're trying to do with this, but they're probably just going to slap a battery on this skill and call it a day, or give her 1 more buff. Mad Enhancement C, 6% Buster Up, Ultra Reactor, 20% debuff resistance. Nice. This, if she ever gets a battery, but right now she's definitely a DPS, I would have extra attack. MP, 9 hit single target, power mod against good alignment by 50% for 1 turn, damage to 1 enemies, super effective to Saber class servants. So, Echan has a 50% power mod against all good servants in the game as a Berserker. This is just lawful good, by the way. Neutral good. Chaotic good. Power mod against all of these servants. And some of them are sabers. In fact, I honestly would say half the sabers are good. Wait. 8, 16, 19. 23, 32. 32 out of 52 sabers take full fucking damage from Echon. More than half the class is weak to her specifically. Now, before I do the placement, I do want to just check. I just want to make sure. I'm clicking these buttons just to draw people's attention. So, yes, Echon outdamaged by Ultra Caster most of the time. Do they overlap? Absolutely. But Castoria, Berserker Castoria is going to be way more universal than Echon. But Echon is quick, and she's also critting. Berserker Castoria, yeah, she is critting. But she's still an arts servant that has crit over a quick servant that has crit. Berserker Castoria, there are times you're going to not have the stars to crit. Echon usually doesn't have those problems. Plus, again, one is quick, the other is arts. Summer Castoria is not knocking down. I kind of said that with Kintoki, but I also justify it that all he is like 1 MP and that's it. Echon is way more than 1 MP, has way more staying power. Is just like really good at her job in general. Like, even if she's not hitting good like sabers, she still is the hardest, like second hardest hitting berserker on this list in terms of base damage, no niche. Like, regardless of that fact, if Castoria doesn't get a niche, Echon is out damaging her. This is a fact. The list, yeah. If you can think of other quick berserkers here that function better than Echon, I would love to hear it out. But I don't think you can like possibly justify like just the difference. Like, Echon feels so fucking good. Like, if you used Echon, she just feels good to use as a character. Like, buttery smooth gameplay. That's just my experience every time I get to bring her out. All right. Hijikata. I am going to like immediately drop him in extremely niche. I don't even remember if I always do this or if I always don't. But the fact of the matter is, you cannot use Hijikata and not be planning for it. What I mean for that is, shit, that could have ended. Oh my god, I would have been fuming if I fuck shit up. Okay, stop playing around with these before I actually make myself mad. Okay, so when you use Hijikata, you are building your entire team for Hijikata. You're not trying to include people like Castoria to keep him alive. If you use people like Castoria to keep Hijikata alive specifically, prevent him from taking damage, what the fuck are you doing? Do you know how to read? Do you see his kit? You Okay, let me explain this in case you don't understand. He has a buffed MP. Him being at 1 HP would do more for him at MP1 than being at max HP at MP5. This is a fact of how his numbers of Hijikata's numbers work and how his OC works. It is literally double damage. Up to double damage for him. Off the base multiplier. Let me repeat that. The one part of the formula that is almost never changeable, the base damage something does. Because everything you do in gacha games, they're all multipliers. They're all just doing math. It's just like, it's like doing coding, like to navigate the internet versus using Windows. It's like they do the same thing, but one is far harder to work. One is far harder, or one has a way higher ceiling than the other, but also a huge floor. This goes into the formula at the very start. So everything else you're multiplying goes into this, or multiplies this. This is like, instead of having like 15 buffs all multiplying like a base number of 10, it's like you have all those buff multiplying a base number of 20. Very, very simple. But the gap between that number, like, okay, like you think about it, you have 10, you have the base number 10, you're multiplying it like 15 other things, and that number ends up being 10,000. Now you just change that number from 10 to 20, now you're at 20,000. And like you may, like in a vacuum you might not think, oh, that's not that, that's, yeah, that's a lot, but it's not that much. We're talking about like doing double damage. I made up that fucking number of 10 and 20. This is how FGO buffs work, though. When we're dealing with break bars, double damage is literally the difference between you breaking the bar and you not. Far more, especially with super recollections. Like this, like he is a like for setups. If you're doing super recollections, him and Aris are probably like up there with some of like the hardest hitting ones. Because like I've seen Hijikata's like crazy damage scaling. It gets fucking nuts. Like this is not super effective. For how that works, super effective is a different multiplier. If Hijikata had a super effective multiplier on top of this shit, there is no contest that he would be like the best servant in the game. In terms of like pure MP damage. If he had another modifier on top of this that like literally couldn't be given to him, is over. But again, keep going, back it up. 12.0, essentially 12.01k attack, 12.28 028 HP. MP charge 1.08%, decent hit counts, but weak extra attack. First skill, Buster up 20% for 3 turns. Party Star Gen up 20% for 3 turns. Second skill, Full Cleanse, 1.5k 8 heal. Guts, 1 time 3 turns, 1 HP, stackable with other guts. This stackable with other guts, really nice because it means CE guts are up for grabs, especially ones that up MP damage. Third skill, 4,000% star weight, and basically his crits get the same kind of scaling that his MP does. The lower his HP, the higher his crit. It goes up to 100%, although it's never going to hit 100%. It's not possible to hit 100%. And 1,000 damage to himself without killing himself. 30 battery. Great Vich synergy, because you're going to pop this skill twice and Vich batteries. You lost 4,000 HP without having to worry about the enemy hitting you. So your damage goes up just by his own skill set. And Vich, just the farming method. 5% buster up. Definitely want this, and probably want this. Not needed, though. You do not need skill reloading. His cooldowns are so goddamn short. You actually don't need it. Very, very surprising that he actually doesn't need it. But again, MP, damage to one enemy, no normal effects. It's just this MP scaling that is 1 minus the current. So it gets as close to this number as possible, but it's not going to hit it. Like, it will not, like, even though it says time something, the number is not going to get bigger. When something says this, it's basically you're multiplying by a fraction. So it's never going to be, like, not an improper number. It's just a fraction, like 5/6, something like that. Yeah, again, you want to get you want this top number, your max HP, to be as low as possible, because that means you're taking away as low as possible a number from 1. That's what you want to do with fractions. You want that bottom number to be as high as fucking possible, and the top number to be as low as possible if you're doing subtraction. No, yeah. Let me give a quick math lesson. Sorry. I know you people don't want to. I know you don't want to do math like this. 1. No. Okay. 1 minus. Oh my god, that looks so bad. Okay. 1 minus 0 equals 1. 1 minus 1 equals 0. Is everyone following me on this? I need to make sure everyone is following me. Hold up, let me move my webcam. I need everyone to understand that these are true. 1 minus 0 is 1. 1 minus 1 is 0. So that means a number in between here that is closer to 0 gets you closer to 1. If the number is closer to 1, you will get 0. I'm sorry if I lost people, but this is what I'm teaching my first graders. So if I lost you, now fractions. So let's say 20,000 HP minus 1 is 1 divided by 20,000, which is very, very, very small number. But 20,000 divided by 20,000 is 1. Does everyone understand this, or do I need to do I need to explain fractions more? But this is, if you don't understand this, just don't use Hijikata. If you don't understand the math for this, don't use Hijikata. Easy. So, yes. Extremely niche, just because it is not as simple as you throw on whatever CEs you can. Because you can't even use Black Rail with this guy properly because of, like, it is going to eat up his guts so quickly. He wants to be at low HP. Luckily, there is Berserker Black Rail that gives him the 80% and doesn't do damage to himself. Because yes, the damage ticks get his HP lower, but when you're at 1 HP, you do not want to be hit with Cursed for 500 because that is an easy death that would have saved you part of the turn. Okay, so I have 2 more here, and then I want to take a break. I've been up for a while today, and I do kind of want to just split this up. So I'm just gonna take like an hour break, rest. I'll start stream back up. Yeah. We're also not playing Honkai this morning or today, because just resets tomorrow, and today. So I'm just gonna do all of it together. All right, Penth. Do not say the A word. Do not say the A word unless you want her to rip your testicles out through your ears. You may think I'm doing a joke about that brutality, but I am sure Penth has probably wanted to do that to the A word for a very, very long time. Just bringing up the A word probably would make her jump out of the screen and tear your throat out, and to quote Mordred, make a new hole there where her fist used to be. Or her big spiny weapon that is bigger than my head. And bigger than most anime girls' chests too. Only most of them though. 10.5k attack, 10.1k HP, MP 1.07. Basically Herc's and Herc's deck with like just more hit counts. 5 hit extra attack. Arts doesn't change. Quick card does change, gets an extra hit. Same gain. Also, the CEO of Amazonas. CEO. If you need anything, she will make sure to kill everything that is in your way to make sure it gets delivered on time. First skill, 18% attack for 3 turns. Weak. This skill, Charisma has been getting buffed for so often. Second skill, debuff immunity for 3 turns. 20% battery each turn. This is usually good, but just not on Berserkers, because usually, Berserkers usually aren't worried about debuffs, although that is their death sentence. So, this stops the normal Berserker death sentence of getting, defense down or attack down and just not doing damage or taking too much. And yeah, charge per turn. Nice. Especially because as a Berserker, they're probably not getting too much charge per turn. Third skill, 20% buster for the party. 100% power mod against Greek males enemies for 3 turns. Which is not that big of a list, but you see these servants pretty commonly. That guy there somewhere. Herc, who we just talked about. Yeah, you can tell Greek males from other characters because if you've heard any Greek myth and that character's in, well, yeah. The only reason Nemo's here is because Triton, Greek god, son of Poseidon, so that's why he's here. And you'd think Iskander shouldn't be here, but he claims he's the son of Zeus, so that's why. Much like a lot, and also a lot of these characters, I think, are. I forget who spawned from Zeus's loins. Yeah, the answer is more than this list, definitely. I just noticed that Dioscuri isn't here. I have mixed feelings about why Dioscuri wouldn't be here. Because even though it's the two of them, do they not count? It's Dioscuri is weird because they choose what traits to and not to count for them. They heavily choose what traits they do and want and don't want to interact with. Oh well. Madness Enhancement EX. 12% Buster Up. Mana loading for like more multi-core, which that's kind of the only like. I might have to just put you in niche too. Yeah. MP 8 hits, single target reduces their attack 10%, scales up to 30. Yeah, I'm gonna have to put you in niche because again, if I didn't do this last year, it's like you fighting Greek males in multi-core because all your two of your buffs are AoE is very different from you doing multi-core and not hitting Greek males. Yeah. Hey, I got through that without saying the A word this time. Awesome. Pretty sure I've been bad about that in the past. All right. Last one before I take my break. We have Oda Nobunaga, Berserker, Rockin' Nobu. 10.1k attack, 10k HP. This was a server that carried me a lot, especially through the Gouda Lottos when they came out. In that year, year 6, the rerun and the other event that came out that year, this character definitely helped me out when I was like brand new to the game, especially the raids. So this character helped me so much in the raids on both servers. Like I remember locking in and just farming a raid with Nobu for like a good couple hours. Yep. All right. MP charge 0.93%. 3 hits on quick, 2 hits on art, 6 hit on buster, 5 hit extra attack. This Nobu really should have more star gen if their buster cards are gonna have this many hits. First skill, full dodge, buster up 20% for 3 turns. The skill needs a buff. Second skill, 10 stars per turn for 5 turns, 500 heal for 5 turns, 3% per turn for 5 turns. This skill could use a buff too. This can be 10%. Come on, this could even even for 5 turns. This can be 10 turns. Third skill, star weight for a turn, ignores evasion, increases attack on burning battlefield for 3 turns. This is on a 4-turn cooldown. Basically, you MP before you pop this skill and you're good to go. Mad Enhancement C, 6% Buster Up. Doesn't have like a traditional battery, so don't worry about a lot of this. MP, 12 hit single target, grants burning battlefield, super effective against divinity. Really, same place as all these other beat sticks. If you notice what they all have in these 3 have in common, they don't have batteries. So like them using their MP repeatedly, not gonna work that well. They're just spamming buster crits. Oh no, B for buster crits. Oh no. Oh no, because Lancelot's in here too. Oh shit. No, that actually is gonna have to just be the joke for this. B for buster crits. They can't do anything else really except spam buster crits. They can't really do much except spam red till they're dead. All right. I am splitting this up. I'm gonna take a break and then come back later in the day. I just don't want a recording like this to stretch on longer than it needs to. And also, I've been up for hours and I don't want to stay sober. I do want to just enjoy. So, when I start back up, I will continue this. Definitely before I go to Persona. It's going to be, again, like me just double checking on lotto shit. yeah, I'll see you guys later. Peace. Okay, so coming back from the break. Yeah, so just all came to me that I have to do 2 more of these in a week. And then I have to do the summary. So, yeah, the other ones I kind of was able to just like sit through, but mm, me waiting a week really pressed me on the time for this. All right. So, before I took this break, we got through all the servants from before part 2. Ending on Hijikata? No, Nobu. So, going through the part 2 Berserkers, and as you can see, aside from 2 low stars and then like 2 welfares, it's all 5 stars from here. So these are all much more modern servants. And let's get into it. And I'm glad Atalanta Altar is the first one, because Nyelter is cute. In the princess outfit, like this is her like the most cat girl-esque. 9.8k attack, 10.6k defense, HP, not defense. MP charge 1.05%. 3 hits on quick, 2 hits on arts, 5 hit extra attack. So yeah. Yeah. Good upstairs, but more gains. Wait, what? I don't know why, but I always, for some reason, I thought she had triple buster. For a while, I thought she had triple buster, but she doesn't. Okay. First skill. Star weight for 1 turn, 6,000%. 20 star bomb and buster crit damage, 1 turn, 50%. Second skill, Crossing Arcadia. This is the same as the Archer one. AoE card buff, 50% for 1 turn. So this skill, on Nyalter, this skill works better as multi-core. This skill just works better than Archer. Yeah, like because a single target is more likely to do something on the same turn as a AoE than an AoE is gonna do something on the same turn as a single target. Like, because in that case, like the AoE just clears the trash. Like, exactly, looking at the 90++, like right now, you use low heat to take care of the trash mobs, and you pretty much just use Summer Castoria for like everything else. Like, literally, if the trash mobs were higher HP than like even 100,000 neutral, like you probably couldn't get away with multi-core as easily. Like, you probably would need more dedication, but yeah, like party-wide buff of this level on a single target like really isn't that bad. Okay, so this is a better version of Eye of Mind False. Yeah, full turn evasion and 50% crit damage. Eye of Mind False is still sitting at like 436-40. So yeah, she basically has a buff version of this skill. But that's it up here. Buster up, Star Gen, crit damage, no battery. MP, 5 hit, single target, seals their MP, inflicts curse. I want to like her a lot more. I honestly want to like her a lot more. But yeah, she's kind of going. I honestly thought this was gonna be more top heavy than mid, but yeah, no, Nyalter right now. It is mostly the lack of buffs. It's honestly the lack of buffs. that like. Yeah, no, it's mostly this MP isn't buffed. If I'm being honest, if this character had a buffed MP, I probably would put them in A for multi-core utility. But as it stands, she's kind of like in the middle right now. Like she has heavy emphasis on crit, and like she has the car buff, but she has no way to actually get to her MP besides actually critting. And one of her skills buffs up Buster crit damage, so it's not exactly like they're prioritizing hitting other types of cards. Yeah. It's a similar case. Just use Scotty and a combination of Scotty and Vitch, and you're pretty much good. I will say Kazuha drop will probably feel a lot better, and you probably can give up one Scotty because of how much crit damage you have. If you were gonna use 3 Scotties, I would. If you're gonna drop Caster Scotty, put Kazuha drop on for higher defense down. Yeah. Yeah, before it was like Caster Scotty, like Kazuha drop like really does remove the emphasis on Caster Scotty. Like, my fucking god. It's like you pretty much only use Caster Scotty for farming and just for the battery. Literally every like Kazuha drop actually just stole Caster Scotty's flow for CQs. Yeah. Next, Shang Yu. Oh boy, this character does not have a good reputation at all. From what I've seen, he can kind of do. It's like you're brute forcing trying to farm with him like you would like Fran or Tamamocat. Like, you shouldn't even try to be using him in farming. This guy is a gorilla that needed Ruler Scotty. Like, truly needed that character to come out. 11.6k attack, 13.7k HP, MP charge 0.51%. Deck 6 hits on quick, very nice. 4 hits on arts, okay. Would no for him. He doesn't want extra. He wants raw damage. 3 hits on the Buster cards and 5 hit extra attack. It is red till it's dead. Dodge 100% crit damage. Star weight 5,000% for a turn. 30% quicken Buster. Another crit buff, 50% for 1 turn. 10 stars per turn. Ignore invincibility for 3 turns. This on a Berserker is very, very, very nice. It means he does not need to sacrifice Black Rel or a different CE in order to like actually do fairly decent damage. I'm saying like because you might use a different CE, just because Shang Yu doesn't really focus on his MP that much, you might just want to see him as just like a really Giga Chad, super heavy crit Berserker that is very likely to be critting. Unfortunately, that's not exactly something special. Like especially half of the Berserkers at the upper tier, like A plus EX, that's literally what they do too. Most of them. So yeah, no, this character would also have problems because they have problems getting to the MP. They would have problems jetting stars as a quick servant. 8% Buster, 8% crit damage, no battery. It depends if you're using Vitch or not, which actually is in the conversation for Shang Yu because of how much Buster he has in his kit and how much he actually wants to be doing Buster crits. There's actually not like throwing in Vitch isn't the craziest idea. Like focusing on the buster crits instead of like even buffing up the MP, like it really depends. Yeah. So MP damage to all enemies. That's the only there is no normal effect. 5-hit AoE quick. MP damage is the OFC, starts at 20, goes up to 60. He needs an MP buff very, very badly, and it needs to be a very good one. Like, this really is a 5-star Berserker that is basically all in on face guards, all in on crits, and pretty much nothing else. The MP is kind of just a throwaway. Yeah, like, especially because there's no ramp up on here. Like, it's basically saying he would want to crit more than he wants to MP. Or, like, your crit turns are your crit turns, and your MP turns are your MP turns. That's, yeah, actually, that's a better vibe from this. Yeah. If you're critting that turn, you're not MPing. That's the vibe he gives off, and I don't know. That's a pretty weird vibe. This skill, they'll probably slap a 30 battery on here, let's be honest. They'll buff this skill eventually and just slap a 30 battery on it and call it a day for his skills. But the MP, I definitely feel needs to have, like, Shang Yu needs the quick and buster res down that Okita has. Okita put... wait, which one? Yeah, no, he needs to have res down after his MP. Yeah, no, actually, yes, because if they're not going to make this 3 turns and, like, give it ramp up, which I don't think they should, because he's not going to be able to get back to his MP at this current point. So it would make sense to put res down on the MP. Activate first or not, I kind of... Oh, Britomart, that's the buff I was asking for. If his MP got buffed like Britomart's, it'd be a good time. Yeah, give him, like, card buff ramp up as he uses MP. So, like, he uses his cards to use his MP to use his cards better. And I think that's just a better flow. But he's still very crit oriented. Yeah, no. I know this is on a skill, but, like, he like, him especially could really use, like, the buster res down. So, where do we put you? It's like he's a crit servant with... I don't want to put him too low. Yeah, no, B. Okay, so he is literally only on here at B. Like, he should be at C. I'm not gonna deny. I feel he should be at C for functionality, but that 3 turns of Invo Pierce plus being able to choose what turns you crit. I don't know. Like, yeah, I don't know. It just feels okay. Like, whenever I've used him, like, I wouldn't say it's the best experience, but he's at least serviceable. Like, Fran's here, and she has an actual demerit in her kit. Yeah. I really thought... No, it's... Why did I think that the Berserkers were going to have more down here? They're not. Because, like, that's the low-star Berserkers that are closer to down here. Yeah. Alright. Next. Juna Alter. We're placing this before we even talk. Before I even go over his kit. We already talked about this. I am dead ass about this. I truly don't think they're... He gets stopped by the enemy having debuff resistance. He gets screwed over by RNG. And that is the only reason he is in A+ instead of EX. He is so... It is in his fucking power mod. He needs to be able to debuff the enemies. And right now, Arjuna Alter cannot debuff outside of his MP. I think his third skill needs to have like a debuff on it or a way to make debuff stick easier. Like put res down. Res down counts as a debuff. Put a fucking burn. Do something. But Juno right now I don't think is at the same peak he was when he came out, year 4. It's now year 5. Are more OG veteran players gonna take issue at this current point in time? I don't think they would, especially because DPSs that don't have super effective niches, they're good at everything, but not amazing at anything. What do I mean? It means that their damage is capped if you don't have super effective. Or if you do have super effective and it's not in play, you do about the same as everyone else. Juna does not have super effective, and I hesitate to think that their first choice buff for Arjuna Alter is going to be an MP buff. Like, let's be completely honest about this. He's not getting an MP buff. Anyone that thinks Juna Alter's first buff is going to be an MP buff is delusional. Delusional. Because most people would count his MP puts the debuff on. So naturally, most people would count his damage with him having a debuff. If you can't debuff the enemy, why are you bringing in Arjuna Alter? That is pretty much everyone's thought pattern. If he does not work, if he does not have his power mod, why are you bringing him? Literally bring anyone else that has a power mod. Otherwise, he's just double stacking an attack buff, which good. But his damage is not going to go up that much. 11.6k attack, 13.8k HP, MP charge 0.98%, hit counts 4 hits on quick, 2 hits on arts, 4 hits on buster, 4 hit extra attack. Good gains, but star gen for him is a problem. If you waste Vich batteries, you waste Vich batteries, and you're not critting on a turn you might need to. And because we'll go through this, in a second. Next skill, I'll talk about it. First skill, 30% attack for himself, 50% power mod for all enemies that have a debuff, except unremovable debuff. So if the enemy has it, like a debuff icon on their thing in the white box, it does not fucking count. It does not count. It needs to be a debuff that is able to be removed. And that's where the issue lies. If you can't put a debuff on, he loses his steroid. His huge steroid, he loses it. And then his damage falls off very quickly. Second skill, star weight for buster cards, 6,000%, 30 battery. I am telling you, when you use Juna, his other cards are not going to have any stars. So their refund inherently is gimped. Yes, he has very good numbers here, but your chances of critting outside of a Mighty Chain are so fucking slim. He is almost heavily reliant on Vitch to help refund his MP if you are using him in a CQ and not using Oberon. Like, you're not trying to do like a 3-turn or some shit. He's gonna get hit and he's gonna crit on the Buster card, and that's pretty much all his refund is gonna be. I do have a lot of problems with this, especially in 3-turn farming. If he happens not to debuff or leaves the enemy with low health, but he needs to crit. If he doesn't have a Buster card, he's shit out of luck. And if he has an Arts and Quick card, you're probably not killing either. Just because you can't crit on the cards, you don't have enough stars. So, again, this is the skill I would very much like buffed. I would very much like it where he puts a debuff on the enemy and he gets like 10 stars per turn. Does that, and I think Juna is in a better spot, but I still think Reiko would be better. It would raise his floor without raising his ceiling too, because the damage is still good. I'm not denying it, but it's just not guaranteed right now. My issue is you need command codes, and you also can't do it right before you also would have to give up carding before you MP, which is a thing. Oh, sorry. You would have to give up high Buster crit damage by carding in front of the MP. Sorry, I needed to rephrase that. Madness Enhancement EX, 12% Buster. Divinity for Tickle at EX. Definitely need mana loading and skill reloading. Do you need it with Juna? Not unless they buff his third skill. Because you can already pop everything with Juna at the earliest turn possible. Like, you don't need his first skill to be any shorter. It doesn't change anything. MP, 5-hit AoE, no normal effect. Buster res down, activates first for 3 turns. Base 20, ramps up to 60. Bonsi, 3 stacks of Invul, 30% MP damage. Again, I don't have problems with this servant. Not that much anyway. I think he's still very good. I have him on multiple accounts, and I'm saying this out of a place of love, not out of someone that does not have Juna. I have him on all of my accounts. I have used him in farming, used him in like other stuff, greed farming, storm pods, you name it. I've used Juna there, and I'm telling you, you feel the fucking difference if you are not fucking fighting people that can get debuffed. It sucks when magic resist literally stops you from doing enough damage and just screws up your run because you weren't paying attention. Like, all I'm saying is user error stuff and stuff you have to pretty much like scum save reset. Not like Leroy Jenkins for the RNG. Like, if you don't want this stuff to bother you, you have to be just resetting on command every time the debuff doesn't land on his MP. If you're dealing with magic resist. And again, if the enemy can't be debuffed, you literally cannot bring Juna. Bring someone else. Well, Reiko, like her not fighting servants. How often are you not fighting servants? Genuine question. How often does that happen? Because I'm telling you, it's mostly story. It is mostly story. And in story, you're not really doing 3-turn farming setups. You're not doing double Vitch Oberon. Not unless you want to suffer. All right. We have 13? 13 more. Chat. It's Musashi time. We stand Musashi on this channel. But I will be the first to admit that she has her flaws, and some of those flaws include what the community put on this servant. This servant was never meant to be a farmer, but her numbers are so good that she might as well be built for farming. What I mean by that is that her kit literally is completely anti-farming. She has debuffs. She has a huge defense down and invo pierce. And that's tied to most of her damage. You don't need that in farming. You just need the attack buff. The defense down is nice, but you can't carry that across waves. And when I farm with Musashi, I usually save that for wave 3. Her second skill, yes, it's MP gain. But did you also know that on that second skill, you double the hit counts for arts cards that turn? I'm sure people know about that. But how much do you actually use that in farming? 0. Most people use this skill solely for the MP gain, and that's it. They don't even care about this part. So Musashi, your next buff, please buff this and do the same treatment to your saber form. I know that probably is not gonna fly because that's basically these arts cards being free refund. Actually, no. This one is harder for them to get away with like keeping it like this than OG Musashi. Like OG Musashi, like when she didn't have the hits, it was like whatever. But like the way most people use Summer Musashi, the hits on her face cards don't even matter. So it's like I would like this buff, but they're probably not going to buff it. All right. So back doing this out of order. This is just a character I have even more experience using than Juna Alter at far different levels of power, including like MP copies, CE supports, you name it. I've probably used Musashi with those characters to like cruise through NA and JP. Yeah, so this character was never meant to be a farmer. Her MP buff directly shows she's not meant to be a farmer, but her refund is just so good she's able to do farming. Like, just off refund. So, again, 12.7k base attack, very good. HP 12.15, barely higher attack than HP. MP charge 0.51%. This is going to feel a lot different once you have the MP gain. 4 hits on quick, 3 hits on art, 4 hits on buster, 5 hit extra attack. First skill, Excel turn, dodge for 1 attack, and then 50% crit damage. This is on a 4-turn cooldown. Fifth servant, so she doubles the hits of her arts cards for 1 turn. But if you only have MP1 Musashi, you're really not going to feel the refund on this. I say that because your MP gauge is already going to be at max. You're not even going to notice like how much more gain you will actually get from doubling your hits. Because if you have MP arts, you have 2 6-hit arts cards with 50% MP gain. Yeah, it kind of doesn't matter if you're critting at that point. Like, that is a stupid amount, like more than Oreshigal's arts card. When that thing is roided out. Because Oresh's arts card, if that thing crits, is so much gain, it's not even funny. But the only reason her arts card isn't better than Bitch's is just because that takes into account her MP gain. Vitch doesn't have MP gain, and her arts card is just that good. Yeah. Third skill, ignores invincibility for 3 turns. Again, very valuable on Berserker. Literally save showing you from going into C. 30% attack up. Guts, 1 time 3 turns. Revives with 1 HP. 5,000 damage to himself. If people hated Jolter's HP demerit, they fucking hate Musashi's. Her, like, she literally cuts her HP in more than half. Like, or no, in almost half. She almost cuts her HP in half in 1 skill. And AoE defense down 30%. Passives, 12% Buster, Magic Resist C, 15% Debuff Resistance, Riding D, 4% Quick, Divinity for Tickle. If you're farming, you're going to want this just for more flexibility. Skill reloading, you can have it if you want, but it's mostly a Tamamo thing. Extra attack, honestly, think about this. She is going, like, again, she's not a farmer, but she can do farming very well. She's likely to be doing like full Brave Chains. Just make it better. Her MP is what was fucking buffed. She has a scaling super effective power mod against sabers that goes from 200% to 300% based on overcharge and MP seal. 4-hit AoE arts, and you reduce crit attack chance by 30% every time you MP. Like, here's the thing. That's only against sabers, and she still has a buffed arts AoE MP. It does not matter that she has super effective. This is not something I would put her in super niche for, even though it kinda does make it so her AoE MP is basically single target, but only against sabers. I'm really glad that this is not on a skill and it's super effective, because I feel that just adds more to this character. But yeah, this was overkill. This was an overkill MP buff. Because before it was just like chance to seal saber MPs is like cool. Now MP1, MP2 became MP1. And now you just get more raw damage. I think a lot more people just don't... how do I want to phrase this? Yeah. Oh, shit. Hit my desk. I think if you haven't used her as a single target, you should probably give it a try if you're able to like really make it work with Musashi. Don't try to do stall stuff. I would try to like treat her as a burst DPS, incorporate crit. Or you're just MP spamming like an art servant. If you have Black Rail and Castoria and all that, you can use her the same way. But against sabers in particular, she is a single target. She does single target damage. All right, Kijo Koyo. Dinosaur Mommy. $9.1k attack, 11.2k HP, MP charge 0.85%. Hit counts 3 hits on quick, arts, buster, and 5-hit extra attack. Literally average across the board, but being average is not a bad thing when more than half the game is dealing with shit. First skill, defense up 30% for 3 turns. Star weight 5,000% for 1 turn. Quick and Buster up 30% for 3 turns. Targeted OC up 1 stage 1 time for 3 turns. Party-wide heal, only the latest debuff cleansed, and insta-kill immunity for 3 turns. Her skills, not that great on... Okay, this should be like a full cleanse. This really should just be a full cleanse. And then this needs something else. Like, how do you have star weight? Hang on, we'll go to the MP first before I finish talking. No battery. Don't worry about it that much. Skill reloading. You would be able to pop this on turn 2. But again, no battery. You could still use Vitch, but no battery. So just keep that in mind. MP, 10 hit AoE. No, sorry, not AoE. Single target. 10 hit single target. Burn to self. And increases her own attack by 20% for 3 turns, or up to 40%. So she has actual ramp up in her kit. The issue is getting to her MP. Yeah, no, this skill needs to get buffed, and she needs like charge per turn and crit. Unless this star weight is literally to help her refund for her MP, I don't see any other case. Like, yeah, this is kind of just another case of lack of buffs. Like, other servants just have only one offensive skill. And, like, this is helpful, yes, but you do need a little more offense. So, actually, you are going to see. And it's only because of lack of buffs. Like, no other reason. Yeah, like, this character just needs a little more help. But not that much help. Yeah, one good buff, and she goes here. All right, one sec. Going to the bathroom. All right, you got to keep moving on. So, Brynhilder. Or Brynhild. This is also another character that I feel is pretty much relegated to multi-core and kind of needs to stay there if you want to use her in farming. She has like a pretty good charge per turn mechanic that if you have her append and it's a lot like this one, you can easily wave clear a single wave without having to worry about carding. It's like pretty much guaranteed. I feel it works better on Brynhilder than it does someone like Penth, only because Penth has that specific niche against Greek males. If Penth had a more widespread niche, like just males in general, she would be a lot better for multi-core. But yeah. So Brynhild, 10.1k attack, 10.023 HP, 0.85% MP gain, 3 hits on quick, 3 hits on art, 4 hit buster, 5 hit extra attack. First skill, 2 attack, 3 turn dodge, and 1000 damage cut for 3 attacks, 3 turns. This is a pretty neat synergy because basically you have protection for 5 attacks. 2, you're just not going to get hit. And damage cut on a Berserker feels pretty good. It's not great. Like, I would take probably more solid defense, but it's not that bad either. Second skill, 20% MP for 3 turns, 10 stars per turn. Only for herself, though. This is not party-wide. Third skill, 30% buster, 30% arts, and if used with servants that have Brynhild's beloved, basically servants Brynhild sees as heroic, an extra 30, another 30% arts and buster for them. So she does not get her own buff because this is her opinion on heroes. She does not see herself as a hero. But yeah, trying to get into like what Brynhild sees as heroic, aka people she feels the need to try to just kill because they are similar enough to Siegfried or Sigurd. Sorry, not Siegfried, Sigurd. Um, yeah, you're gonna be scratching her head on a lot of these. So that is why I say multi-core is her like main niche now, because like it just has to be any one of these any one of these target servants that is single target would work well with Bryn. If it's a 1-3-1, Bryn has it like down pretty well. But if there's multiple waves with enemies, you're either gonna have to use your supports to charge up Bryn or use someone else. Because like the way Bryn's charge works, if she's not MPing turn 1, she's not gonna be able to build back up that much charge. And again, if you are starting off on turn 1, it's not great for Bryn. It basically needs to be like multiple enemies in the final wave. Madness Enhancement D minus 3.5% Buster Up. Mana loading for more options than multi-core. Skill reloading. MP. 5-hit AoE Buster. Ignores invincibility. Buster Up for 1 turn, 20%. Also, card buff, arts and Buster Up 10%, and for Brynhild's Beloved, it is 15%. Yeah, obviously they want you to use her with Sigurd. But yeah, Invul Pierce, Buster Up on the MP. Again, she is suffering from lack of buffs, which is like mostly like how a lot of these more recent servants are gonna go. Like all of these servants just have not gotten buffs, and it's like you actually can make stars, and you can actually use your MP. Yeah, like I don't want to say this is too bad, but your use cases for her are definitely going to be limited to event CEs that have like 50% charge. And you're probably want to be having multiple on too, like lottos. Other than that, like Bryn, I don't see that much of a use case for her. But she is a berserker. You could throw her at any AoE wave in a 90++, and again, if you only need one wave clear, you have like a fairly good option that isn't, or you have an option that's not going to need as much support as all like pretty much everyone else on this tier. None of them have batteries like hers. Like, yeah, none of these characters have batteries at all. So her being here, I think it's okay. But yeah, it's a lack of buff. One buff for most of these characters, and they at least go up a tier. Galatea, I try to have such a good opinion of this character. It's just hard. It's really hard for this character to like stand out. 11.4k attack, so slightly lower than average. 14k HP. 0.6% MP gain. I will say You're not using her in the same places you're using Vlad. You are absolutely not using Galatea in farming. She is so heavily CQ, it's not even funny. While Vlad has uses in farming and in CQ, Galatea like needs to just stay in CQ or like read farm 90 plus where it's only like one enemy. Like that's pretty much her best use case just because of how the kit works. Yeah, like 0.6 with an arts MP, but only having one arts card. 5 hits on quick, 3 on the arts, 3 hit on Buster, but you're refunding with these Buster cards. So they're basically quick cards too in terms of gain. 5 hit extra attack. First skill, 30% arts, 30% Buster. Buff removal resistance 1 time 3 turns at 100%. Good that it's not 1 turn. I'm super glad for that. And a 20 battery. This 20 battery kind of just screws her over because it's not 30 and it changes what C she uses. Because wanting to prevent like having to choose between using a battery early and like having buff removal resistance because you want to save this battery for when you might need the more charge in a run. It's not a choice you should be making. It should be like pop this at the start and move forward and just have better C options and supports, because not having charge doesn't only affect what CEs you use, it is also what supports you have. If you're able to like have fake 50, it means you don't need to cast Storius out on the first turn. It could only be one, and another one might come in later, but you're not pigeonholed to starting your fights off with 2 supports that both have charge. That is kind of the emphasis on why like the charge situation is the way it is and why people feel some servants are better. It isn't just the servant in a vacuum. It's what servants you run to like. It's literally the entire fight. Like when servants come in, it all has to do with when can a servant MP. Second skill, guts 1 time 3 turns, stackable with other guts. Awesome. Defense 2 times 3 turns at 100%. 100% defense, you face tank NPs and do not take damage as long as you don't have defense down on. And it's going to be really, really hard for any kind of debuffs to stick on her. Because her first skill, she cleanses at the end of her turn. Everyone's debuffs gets cleansed at the end of her turn. Is that kind of annoying? Yeah. But at the same time, if you're fighting someone that puts debuffs on you after you attack, this is a fucking godsend. Because it, like... Yeah, like, you don't go into the fight having, like, 5 stacks of burn to just die out immediately, or that enables some kind of enemy mechanic, like some buffs are not active unless you're burned. Galatea just kind of stops that and like, yeah, no, we're not playing that game. And when you use a Buster card, you get 10% battery with Galatea. It is very funny using Galatea and having double Vitch, because that means her Buster cards charge her 30 gauge per Buster card. It is really funny to see that shit. But that is only one way to play her. Madness Enhancement EX, 12% Buster. Magic Resist B, 17.5% debuff resist. I still think you should get mana loading. If you're using her as a DPS, you do want this just to make her Brave Chains better. This to make the cooldown better with Vitch if you... Yeah, so... Funny thing, because of skill reloading, You can actually double pop this, so that means you can get 40% Buster or 40% gauge from one Buster card. Okay, so that's not super important, but that is just really funny that Galatea's Buster cards can refund better than most Art Servants MPs can for them without like MP game buffs. I think that is just really funny. Objectively, is it useful? Probably not, because you don't want this to be like double stacking. You'd want to space it out. So yeah, having this off cooldown, if something happens, you can repop it early, or you can do some meme stuff. NP, 9 hit single target, guaranteed drain, MP damage ramp up. Her main issue is still consecutive NP pops. She still struggles with it greatly. She is a single target arts that like needs her face cards to refund, while normally it's one face card refund gets her the gain she needs. Only 10% Buster is not gonna help her, especially if, like I said, you were using Vitch to amp out the Buster crit damage. You're gonna be lacking in a lot of places. Gain is one of them for Galatea. She's still better than all of these characters. One, two, three, four at single target. So don't get me wrong with how I'm talking about Galatea. She is good, but she's not meta good. She's like worse than Vlad. This is it's merely because there isn't really a meta servant that buffs specifically Arts and Buster like Scotty. Like Galatea actually needs someone like Ruler Scotty, but for Arts and Buster. She gets a support like that and she gets a lot better. But right now it is a lack of like really good supports for her. Yeah, and that's pretty much it. It's supports that kind of work with her but aren't great with her. She just needs something more specific. Pushing through, pushing through. Morgan, my queen. Yep. Okay, so I know usually, and I know this is like people that watch the tier list, they know I try my best not to put overlap in EX. If you're an AoE Berserker or an AoE Buster, there probably isn't going to be another AoE Berserker, AoE Buster in EX. However, Morgan is so much of an exception, and she's specific, like as a farmer, she is undoubtedly one of the best farmers to use with Vitch if you are fighting man. There is absolutely no question on this. Her, like Morgan, fighting man attribute, no brainer that Vitch should be there, because her super effective and Vitch's power mods multiply into each other perfectly. They're both man attribute. She has 100% power mod for man attribute, and then super effective for man attribute on the MP. That is just talking about her farming. If you're not fighting man attribute, her damage falls off. But if a unit has a niche, like, and you could just use anyone else outside of that niche, just use anyone outside the niche, she is very, very, very good at what she does, and that is killing men. cursing men to death. Base attack 12.1k, HP 12.4k. MP charge 0.53%. Her gains are good. They are good. 4 hit on quick, 3 hits on arts, 3 hits on buster, 5 hit extra attack. First skill, 20% attack, 30 battery for herself, and 30% defense down for the enemy. Second skill, Castoria's second skill, but just a little bit weaker. 20% attack, 25% MP gain. So I didn't even say why Morgan was up here on the list, because I know I was talking about buster farming and anti-man, but that is not the reason Morgan's going in EX. The reason she goes in EX is because she's stupidly good at multicore as well as still being an amazing farmer. It's like you have Juna, and then Juna's able to also do something completely different than just farm. Like how Summer Ibuki also has cooldown reduction in her kit, so that if she uses it on Tamamo can actually has a chance to double pop her skills in a farming run. Obviously, you have to build differently than if you're just bond greed farming. You would not be using you would have to give like Tamamo a little more charge. But the fact of the matter is that Tamamo can double pop her skill because Ibuki is using her skill on her support. Kind of adds another layer of depth for Ibuki. She's not just a farmer. You could also use her as a support or for multicore, and she'd still do her jobs very well. Morgan is the buster equivalent to that. I used Morgan on 2 different accounts to get her to bond 8 and 9 strictly through multicore farming, and only one account. No, and I don't even think I had an account that actually used her as just a farmer at MP2. This is strictly an MP2 thing. Yeah, like getting to Bond 6, I used her in farming, but post Spawn 6, it was just multi-core the whole time. And my god, like Morgan and Tonalico are 2 of the best multi-core buster servants out there. They feel so good. They work with so many units. Morgan having split charge like this and like debuffs, it just makes your life so much easier and gives her more options, because this is not a block 50. It's split up based on what charge you need, which is exactly how a multi-core unit should be if they have multiple batteries. Like, they definitely should not be all or nothing, and they give party utility. And if you just look at these 2 skills, they're both AoE. Third skill, Guts, 1 time 3 turns. This is on a 7-turn cooldown, so this is not great uptime for Guts. But 5,000% star weight on all her cards. Another thing that I like about Morgan that I also like about Raiko, you can actually use all their cards, not just the buster cards. 30% crit damage, 20% attack down, 20% crit down, but this is from a regeneration buff, so this activates every turn, instead of like being a 3-turn debuff. So it carries over if you are doing farming and things turn out bad, like it's a weird note, it's like 1 wave and then it's the final wave, and then it's just like a boss with break bars. Like this would help. Like this would, I don't want to say it would be better, but it would work perfectly if you pop this skill on turn 1. You wouldn't have a problem in the 1 enemy wave. And then 15 stars. Out of Morgan's skill, I think this could use the buff the most and just to reduce the cooldown to 6. But even still, it's still technically 6 right now because of a Pen 5. Speaking of that, mana loading, skill reloading, and If you plan on using Morgan more as a crit servant, which I did use for a good while, extra attack feels really good on her. Um, yeah, because she has an attack buff and a defense down, like the extra attack just hits so much harder, and it just feels good. On most Berserker DPSs though, like extra attack the finesse does feel pretty good. NP. Power Mon against Round Table Knights or Fae. Awesome, as if she didn't need more damage. AoE 6-hit Buster overcharges the party. Another factor that goes into the multi-core. Her invincible comp. There's multiple reasons Morgan's up here. And it's because like she is like the epitome of like Berserkers doing just more than just one thing. That is literally Morgan's whole gimmick, that she is so good at pretty much everything. So why would she not just abuse the system? And the super effective against man attribute. So unfortunately this does not work for her MP on the first activation, but if you do back-to-back pops, you do get to take advantage of this and get higher man attribute super effective. And if you're multi-core, you can definitely space it out a little more, especially if you MP turn 1 and you don't have to MP turn 2. Bonsi is power mods for Round Table Knights and Fae, and man attribute. Yeah. Morgan, EX, not going to hear this one. Yes, she falls off on damage if you're not fighting man attribute. But she is so good at fucking man attribute, it kind of doesn't matter. It's like, again, she's like a 7 most of the time, but against man, she goes to like an 11. She, like, even when she's not at 11, she's still at a 7, and a 7 is better than most of the other units on here. Like, Juno would be an 8 or a 9, and Morgan would just be at a 7, and I think that's fine. Eight more. Say Shonagon. Thank God for Ruler Scotty. Because holy shit, this character felt bad as fuck without Ruler Scotty out. And I still don't even remember what servant I was thinking of that had triple buster and a single target quick MP. I could have sworn it was Njolter, but I guess it was only Say. Unless I'm thinking of like another character, and I just don't remember them right now. But Say Shonagon, besides being Haruhi Suzumiya, sorry, another multi-core unit, and one that you actually, depending on the node, you might want to consider whether or not Black Rail is best option. Reason being is that she loads up on power mods on her MP to the point that if you have too many of them, it's not that it doesn't play nice with all the crit buffs. It's just that you have like so much weight towards that part of the formula, MP damage, crit, and power mods, that you might hit cap on one thing but not the others. Like, it's just gonna be super inconsistent. It's inconsistent when you're talking about Say. Anyway, 9.9k attack, 9.9k HP, slightly higher attack, but not by that much. And they gets flipped around by one at 120. Weird how that works. MP charge 1% flat, 4 hits on quick, 3 hits on arts, 4 hit extra attack. Holy shit, she has a really good arts card. She is so slightly behind Vitch. It's not like, wow. If this was like literally any higher, she'd have a better arts card. or maybe a better feeling arts card if she crits. Yep. Can 4-hit extra attack. Disappointing. 30% attack, 30% crit damage, 20% battery. Dodge, 2 attacks, 3 turns. Crit damage for 1 turn, 100%. Star weight for 1 turn, 500%, 5,000%. Third skill, heal, 3,000. Burn immunity, you give for 3 turns. Grants crit stars, 25 of them. The burn debuff immunity would be really nice. Trying to think how to phrase it. Oh yeah, except for the fact that Gang Weifei is a Horner. So if you're bringing Sei, she's a support, and then she's just gonna die really quick to Yang. But yeah, this. I mean, most people would just, why not just get debuff immunity? Yeah. Menace Enhancement D, 4% Buster. Independent Action, 4% Quick Card Star Weight. Charm Resistance up 100%. Our pens are kind of weird because of Sei's kit. As a single target DPS, you'd probably want to get extra attack, and mana loading and skill reloading. Again, it depends on whether you're trying to fit Scotty Vitch in or not. And not that much of a reason to use Vitch. Yeah. MP, 7-hit, single target. Power mod against Lawful. Power mod against Shadow Servant. Both at 50%. Activates first. Power mod against Man Attribute. Activates first. So, this is different than her Archer. Her Archer is neutral alignment, not Lawful. Yeah. To take advantage of Sei, you want to be... I also want to say, like, she is built like a multi-core unit too, or a raid boss killer. Yeah, she has the 3 turns and the crit damage. It's nice that this lasts for 3 turns. But her crit only being 1 turn kind of throws a wrench in, like, sustained DPS if she has fall off like this. I want to say it's not as bad as my feelings about Li Shuen. Like, Li Shuen, his damage will fall off from the lack of 3-turn buffs. But Sei kind of mitigates that if she's MPing. Because then it depends what enemy she's fighting, but she'll get power mods. I want to put her here, but I think she's just too conditional. Like, it's not even niche. It's like, are you trying to hit one thing or multiple? Because it's like, again, it's all power mods too. So, yeah, I just want to put her in C just because you need to know the fight to know whether or not Sei is worth it. Because there are some enemies where, like Lawful Man Attribute, that's 100% power mod for that turn. Like, that's gonna feel a lot different than a chaotic, Earth Attribute Servant. Her damage difference is gonna be like all over the place. It's like you have 4 circles of a Venn diagram, and you try to put all the servants in the game and see like which one Sei doesn't have advantage over, which one she has 1, 2, 3, Yeah, like she is a lot. She's a lot. She has a higher ceiling and lower floor, but the different like the amount you have to go for the higher ceiling is just so unrealistic that it's not. She doesn't get the pass that some of the other characters do for stuff like this. Like if she was able to control at least one of them, it would be better. But if you do not know attributes off the top of your head, if you don't know alignments off the top of your head, you're not gonna like this character because you're gonna feel that she just doesn't do enough damage most of the time. And half the time that's true, half the time it's not true. Creamhild. She goes right with Galatea. Her weakness is her refund from her MP is abysmal for a single target. You like her MP has such low hit counts that you're not loop farming. That's why she has her battery the way it is. It's not a refunding MP. It's very likely you're gonna mix supports, like you're gonna mix arts and buster up. Like not in a bad way, but you're not gonna be having the dedicated systems that you're normally used to using her. And it's kind of just how her kit is designed. 10.4k attack, 9.9k HP, MP charge 0.53%. 3 hits on Buster, 3 hits on Arts, 3 hits on Quick, 5 hit extra attack. First skill, guaranteed AoE drain. Well, not guaranteed, 100% chance. Just, yeah, you can't really avoid it. 20% defense down for, again, this is AoE. Crit attack chance down, AoE, 20%. Second skill, 30% arts, 30% buster, 50% power mod against chaotic alignment. Which again, half the game. Scapegoat, you are able to taunt one ally, 50 battery, and you heal. So, depending on the turn, you can either use this on Kremhild herself, or you target someone else for esports. The reason you would target yourself is because she's an art servant. Most cases you're probably popping Castoria's arts buff. So she's invuled while having a taunt. So that is a free battery essentially after MP without her taking damage. Or again, if you're doing esports, you taunt one of your allies that already dropped their buffs and you want them to just die, and they're just gonna pretty much die, especially if the enemy got skill sealed. Then that good luck, rip Bozo for whatever character. But again, if it's esports, that is only a benefit to you. Mad Enhancement EX, 12% Buster up. Definitely mana looting for lottos and farming. Skill reloading if you're using with Tomomo. NP removes defensive buffs. Super effective damage against dragons. Arch res down 30% for 3 turns. If they buff this MP, they're going to make it Arts and Buster res down. But the fact of the matter is that she has super effective against Berserker or dragons. And she's a Berserker. Literally only 4. Only 4 of the dragon servants in the game you can't bring Kremtil to. Unlike Sigurd, unlike Sumanai, she is a Berserker with this with this mod that also affects trash mobs. Really good for farming, really good for boss fights. Like, I will take it. And again, some of these servants are chaotic. Of course, the first one I picked, not chaotic. But Mordred, Sumanai, I'm pretty sure is chaotic. Yeah. Like, literally, she is anti-Sumanai. She will smack the shit out of her husband for not telling her she looked cute enough. And then when she does, she still tries to kill him for trying to embarrass her. And flattery won't get you everywhere. Poor Sumanai. I'm sure there are people that would say would, but he stuck his dick in crazy, but he doesn't really regret it either. And now look at him. Bonsi E, chaotic and dragon power mods while she's on the field. Yep, she is definitely A material. The reason she's staying in A though is, again, it is a little too niche, and she does lack refunding potential, getting her back to her own MP. Outside of supports just like front loading so much charge on her. In farming, that's much less of an issue than in CQs, because definitely having drain, debuffs, and everything else Cream Health has, she can remove defensive buffs. She works wherever you need her to work. She is a workhorse, single target servant. One of my favorite characters. I really like this character. I like Summer Ibuki so much, I got tired of seeing her MP. I like Summer Ibuki so much, I can't use her on JP for anything but storm pods. She is her. She was her for such a long time. And she still is her for arts berserkers. Now, if we're talking about AoE arts, everything, is she still her? That is a different conversation, one that is not even coming up in this tier list. Simply because she doesn't need to be. She has no enemies. This is the only AoE arts berserker on here. Sorry, Musashi too. Sorry. But Musashi doesn't have the battery. Ibuki, multi-core, single core, 90 plus plus single core looping, 90 plus plus multi-core, CQs. If you've seen a CQ, you've probably seen it done with Summer Ibuki. That's how much people like this character. She is one of those hyper-invested characters. Now, I don't have that much experience using her at MP1. But there's nothing to worry about. She's still self-explanatory. Now, are you still going to be using her in 90 plus plus stuff at MP1? No. Nix the stuff I said about 90 plus plus. Only at MP1 though. It's literally at MP2 and she's able to do it. No problem. It's literally a damage and refund issue that's just solved because MP1 to MP2. Yeah. So 12.9k attack, almost 13k. Like rounded, this goes to 13k. 12.1k HP. MP charge 0.38%. You look at that and you think that can't be right. You see how Ibuki loops. But no, this is what Mordred used to have before they buffed her. In year 1, she used to have this refund, but because there wasn't Castoria, they got away with literally doubling Mordred's gains. So Ibuki, they gave her Mordred's original looping profile, and she's in the current meta, she's looping 100%. Lots and lots of traits. Summer Ibuki, unfortunately, is just one of those servants that you really like when she's on your side, And when she's on the enemy side, she has so much of an uphill fight because we have demonic, demonic beast, divine, dragon, giant, oni, so, this is actually a plus, like non humanoid. Um, but yeah, these are very highly coveted niches that people that go for anti-niche characters, one of the most common targets is Summer Ibuki, because Berserker, and she has like literally all these traits. Really nice as a buffer that she has all these traits. So, good as a player that you get to smack her around that much. She would be a harder boss if she was not weak to so many things. First skill, 20% attack, 30% crit damage, and MP gain for the entire summer mode servants on the field by 30%. I misspoke. That is what it is. Second skill is what I was talking about added utility that Morgan had. This is Summer Ibuki's. Targetable arts and Buster Up, and you are able to reduce skill cooldown by 1. Now, again, it is debatable how useful this is. This is extremely situational for why you would be using Summer Ibuki as a support. There are cases in her own farming where popping this on her support yields more damage. But it's a very niche case on this. Most of the time, you're going to use this on Ibuki, and you're going to keep all her cooldowns at 5 consistently. And that's just how it be. Third skill, 50% battery, 10 stars per turn, 5,000% star weight for 3 turns. Madness Enhancement E, 2% Buster Up. Dragonkind, 12% Buster Up, and Damage Cut, 200% as a passive, and then Buff Removal Resistance, 20% as another passive. I mean, hey. Having Damage Cut as a passive, cool. On a Berserker, not as good, because they're just going to take more damage than 200. This on Saber Ibuki just works better because Saber Ibuki isn't taking double damage from everything. And this, just don't rely on it, but if it's useful, it's nice when it happens. This for multi-core, for farming, for pretty much everything. This should be your first thing. Going for extra attack and skill reloading depends on your account and whether you have Tomomo or not. NP 5-hit AoE arts removes all enemies' defensive buffs. Crit attack chance down 20% for 3 turns, and super effective against Earth attribute. Summer Ibuki is the reason people started caring about traits. If it wasn't for her, like, honestly, wait, I'm trying to, wait, okay, I'm brain farting right now. No, okay, yeah, yeah. Brain farted, and for some reason I thought Summer Ibuki didn't come out this year. She did on NA, and I'm just like, that's how much of a blur this year has been. But yeah, people in farming really didn't start caring about anti-trait until Summer Ibuki came out, and that it's specifically because HP started inflating so much in nodes like Super Recollections, 90++, that people actually needed to take traits into account. So is that a case of the HP bloat of Oberon? Or is it because our servants just started getting so strong that they needed to give people reasons to build other servants? You can be the judge of that. Ooh, ow. Ow. Bonsi, Arts, and Buster Up 8%, and a 10% power mod to Earth attributes. attribute while she's on the field. Yeah, EX. EX. She really is a servant, though, that, like, if you get too comfortable using her, like, she is like a drug. Like, once you start using her, like, you're not going to want to start using, like, other AoE art servants. She really is like the Melisson. Like, there was no point in using another Lancer if you had Melisson. Summer Ibuki kind of was that way, but for all AoE arts, like Melisson, it was only Lancers, but Ibuki, it was because like other AoE arts loopers just weren't as good. She kind of was just like running like dominant, like asserting her dominance for like 2 years almost straight. Like, Ruler Melisson came and went and didn't leave as big of an impact as Summer Ibuki, even though it was Melisson. Summer Melisson is still good, but because she's Ruler, her just loop damage is always going to be just lower. That you have to worry about super effective. All right. Need water. We'll be back. We have 5 more, and then we're done. Yeah, so I probably would have been done around 1 if I had actually kept going. Good to know, but I still really did want this break. All right. Sen no Rikyu. Again, like, this one is kind of pretty obvious. Like, this one is there is no competition. I know I said that about Ibuki for AoE arts. That's not really the case because of Musashi. But again, she focuses more on CQs than her. Unremovable invul. Rikyu, only AoE quick Berserker. That is like truly farming and does not need like gimmicks to do it. And she, like, not only that, she also like puts a shitload of defense down to the point that Kazura drop, I hesitate to say would be a good support, only because there's just way too much defense down. Like, truly in her team, in Rikyu teams or Rikyu runs, like, you really just ramp up the defense down like just so quick. That Kazura drop is just too much, and you're probably gonna want to look at other supports. So 12.4k, almost 12.5k attack, 12k HP, 0.7% MP gain, 5 hits on the quick hearts, 3 hits on arts, 3 hits on buster, 5 hit extra attack. First skill, 20% MP gain, 20% quick buff for the party, 15 stars. Yeah, like, or I was gonna say that she didn't have competition. There is Lohi, but I do think Rikyu is still better. Sorry, I needed to clarify that because I didn't see Lohi, but Lohi we will talk about. But comparison sake for Lohi, they both do have AoE card buffs. Second skill, 30% battery, targeted. Yeah, this skill is entirely targeted. 30% battery, overcharge MP 2 stages, 1 time 3 turns, and invul 1 attack 3 turns. So technically, this is multi-core utility, but Rikyu just works better as if she's the one just doing everything. Like, she could, but she just like would work better focusing on herself. Third skill, 50% crit damage, another 50% quick crit damage, and then if you attack with quick cards, you put defense down. So, quick Brave Chain, quick. Face cards, 30% defense down. MP quick, 30% defense down. It's not just with the normal attack, it's also with the MP. So, and the great part is it activates first, so even her MP actively has defense down on it. If you want a card before the MP, you could, but it'll probably just be better to refund on the tail end and just get more hits of overkill. Madison Hanson, Sabi, EX, Wabi Sabi. Buster up 10%, crit damage up 5%. Territory creation, 8% arts up. Mental debuff resistance 20%. Debuff success rate up 10%. MP gen of quick cards up 10%. This for farming. This doesn't matter that much. It's just nice to have. And extra attack if you're using her as a full crit servant. NP AoE 6 hit, damage to all enemies. MP seals for 1 turn, curses them, super effective against man attribute. So, to me, this is the difference between Riku and Lohi. Riku can do multi-core and can start laying down defense down, but if that's what you want, why would you not just be using Khosrow drop? Why would you not? If you're looking for defense down, just use Scotty. Riku can do multi-core, but they might not. You might not see the same benefits that you would from Lohi. Lohi just functions more for multi-core and is like more of a support than she is a farmer. And she also has crit intrinsic, so that's also another plus for her. So, yeah. I know I saw people saying that Lohi would be replacing Riku. That's just not happening, man. That, yes, higher base damage, but that's kinda it. Like, she has a lot of the buffs herself, and she ramps up. So she actually, like, when we'll get to it with Lohi, but because she ramps up MP damage, her using Black Rail kind of does start losing a little value. Like, the damage increase isn't going to be that massive unless you're using Oberon. Okay. Next, Durudana. He essentially is functions very similar to Musashi, where he's able to do farming, but that's not his main role. But he also can do it pretty well. 9.4k attack, 11.2k HP. MP gain 0.32%. If that raises alarm flags, yeah, just a little bit. 5 hits on quick, 3 hits on arts, 3 hits on buster, 5 hit extra attack. 20% attack buff for the party, 20% crit damage. 1 ally's star weight randomly goes up. This might fuck with your runs, or it might do nothing. It literally depends on do you have crit stars or not. If the answer is no, then this doesn't matter. Why does having star weight on turn 1 for arts units matter? Most of the time you don't have stars. But a second skill gives you stars, so then you do have to worry. 30% arts up, 30% crit damage, 15 stars. Third skill, okay, so you can choose the star weight. 20 stars per turn, 10 gauge per turn, every turn for 3 turns. And reduces all enemies' debuff resistance by 40% for 1 turn. Madness Enhancement E- for 1% Buster. Use this to get better farming options. But he does have charge per turn, not a battery, so you still have to be able to loop pretty much 100%. That 10% is literally just in case you're instead of looping a neutral class, you have a assassin or something. That's what that 10% is for. MP 6-hit AoE arts. Quick res down, arts res down, buster res down. But this is chance based, and the base chance is only 60%. Yeah, so his res down needs to be a lot higher and last, because like he's arts sub DPS, and he like kind of works in farming, but it's like he doesn't want to be doing it himself. Like he does not want to loop all 3 waves by himself because his OC is not going to be guaranteed. You have a good chance of landing at least one of them, but your refund is tied to arts. So if you don't land the arts res down, it actively affects your damage and refund. So yeah. Bonsi, 30 stars, 30 star bomb when he enters the field. Yeah, he's like an arts crit support as a Berserker. That's also able to wave clear. It would be even better if this was targetable. He would be even better if this was targetable. Because then you'd have the option of him being a full sub DPS or not. Two left. Like I said, 2 left. Talking about Shinpachi now. So, Shinpachi. Almost. This is gonna be real quick, chat. She's the best. She is so fucking good. It like most of the game, like upper tier end game, is solved with this character. Like people glaze the shit out of Draco for good reason. That is literally the devs choose how strong Draco is for any event. We the players don't really get a choice. We'll get onto that like next Sunday probably when I do Extra 2. Artoria Berserker. What else to say? This character is actually fucking goated, and if she's not hitting niche, she's still doing more damage than like most people are neutral. Even her neutral damage is still better than most people. All she needs is like 1 niche, and she's good to go. And yeah, quick run through. 12k attack, essentially. 0.4% MP gain. She's critting most of the time, so this doesn't matter. 4 hits, 5 hit on quick, 4 hits on arts, 4 hits on buster, 5 hit extra attack. First skill is 50% crit damage, star weight of 5,000, and a 50 battery. Second skill, another 20 battery with MP gen and overcharge. And you can choose whoever gets this. Well, the party gets the MP gain. Third skill, 50% arts up, 10 stars returned, and invo for a turn. They took Castoria's kit, and they said, how can we make this offensive? And this was the answer. Castoria is the most generically good art support. Berserker Castoria is the most generically good arts Berserker. She does all of it very well. She does the crit well. She does multi-core well. She does single core farming well. She does the crits well. Madness Enhancement A, 10% Buster Up. Magic Resist B, 17.5% debuff res. Debuff success rate up 2%. Fey Eyes, 20% crit attack chance resistance. As a Berserker, that actually matters. So she's pretty much not getting crit. Fuck Oberon, that's why she has this. Because she literally wants to kick Oberon's ass, like, up and down the fucking field. Because he really can't do shit to Berserker Castoria. Like, she has her name. Castoria has Oberon's name written on her fists. Like, Martha has Jesus. Like exactly like Martha named her fists after our Lord and Savior Jesus Christ. 6 hit arts single target. Everyone in the party gets solemn defense for 1 attack, 1 turn. This is an offensive MP, by the way, and it just gives out solid defense. So if you're like, if you're in a team environment, it's very unlikely that anyone takes damage unless you're getting AoE hit. They're gonna have to waste an attack to clear it off, and then they probably pop a skill, and then maybe they hit someone else, and you took no damage that turn, and you can just keep doing that. If you are annoyed with how you cannot use double Castoria like their MP pops, like the Solemn Defense just like fucks it up. If you don't need, if you're not trying to do Invincible comp and you just need Solemn Defense just for damage mitigation, this Castoria does it much better. The other one is much better for stall than she is like mitigation. Because you want Castoria to have as many stacks with this one. Super effective against threats to humanity, aka the hardest enemies in the game. However, I just want to preface that most of the other characters that have this are foreigners. I'm not saying to use Berserker Castoria against foreigners. That is not a smart thing to do. However, she does literally have super effective Empower mod, and Chaotic and Divinity kind of go hand in hand with a lot of the characters on this list. So it's like, even if she's only doing half damage to these foreigners, like base because of Berserker versus Foreigner, she still gets power mod and super effective. So it's not going to be like, it's not going to be great damage, but it's not going to be so low that it's like complete fall off. But again, you probably shouldn't use a Berserker to fight foreigners. It's like, if you do it, it's funny. But also Abigail's on this list too. Wait, what? Ooh. At least she lost the divinity. Heh. At least she lost the divinity so she doesn't get full blasted. Yeah, crit attack chance down 20%, and then 2 power mods, 1 against Chaotic, 1 against Divinity, and this is built in the same way as Benny Enma's, except better scaling than Benny Enma's. Yeah, and functionally, these are just also crit buffs, so yeah. Yeah, she can just give herself like 100% crit damage effectively every turn, depending on who she's fighting. She's too good. She is too good. Power mods against Chaotic, power mods against Divinity. Two more. Chimpachi Lohi. Shinpachi does the crit shit. He goes all in for the crit shit. If you are looking for crazy, stupid burst damage from Buster cards, this is the fucking guy. So much that he actually goes into niche. Base attack 10k almost flat. HP slightly higher, 10.1k. MP charge 0.67%. 4 hits on quick, 3 hits on arts, 3 hits on buster, 3 of the buster cards, 6 hit extra attack. First skill, 30% buster. On defense buff, when he takes hits, 10 stars. And finally, a guts 1 time 3 turns. This is a buster crit servant that can actually spam red till it's dead and not have a fucking star problem. And if you use Vitch, every time he gets hit, 20 stars. Like, I am not a fan of burst damage versus sustain, but at least this guy actually does have sustain along with his crazy burst damage. Like, the burst damage is his crits. It's not just his buster cards. He can still do red till it's dead fairly well. Second skill, dodge, 1 turn, and then defense up 18% for 3 turns, but Eye of Mine True is a skill that has been getting buffed lately. So this is probably going to get buffed soon. Third skill, 5,000% Buster Star Weight, 100% crit damage, 10 stars on a 4-turn cooldown. The reason I'm emphasizing this is because, note, he does not have a battery. Most of the reason you do not immediately just double tap with Vitch to reset cooldowns is because that there's usually a battery involved that makes it harder. This, with him, you can either back-to-back your crit turns, or you can just straight up double stack this 100% crit damage. Along with making sure you have more than enough stars. Like, he is a crit Berserker that doesn't have a problem actually critting. Now, is this uptime great? No, but again, you also have Vitch to make the fall off for this much better, and it's probably why you shouldn't just shotgun this, and you should space it out more. If you do get mana loading, or if you do get skill reloading, which I do advise for him specifically, you are able to do this back to back. You just space out the Vitch batteries, pop 1 on each turn, and you are good to go on this. Extra attack 2 for if you're doing Buster Brave Chains, it's gonna hit hard. NP increases his crit damage by 100%, removes enemies' evasion buffs, Buster up 20%. So you have if you are not trying to shotgun and you're trying to space it out, it doesn't matter. You'll still, like, whether you do 200, like, you double stack it, the third skill, and go 200%, or like, and you have like a full Buster Brave Chain, or you can do MP Buster if you only had 2 Buster cards, and still have 200% crit damage, along with the 20% Buster buff. But that's not too important. His main weakness, no attack buff. If they buff this skill, they might just give it the Emiya treatment and give him an attack buff. Because that's what they did for Emiya. He has crit, he has Buster, no attack buff, and that will bite him in the butt when it comes to Vitch teams. Not necessarily including Oberon, but just teams with Vitch, you're gonna need a support that can drop attack buffs or like really help this guy out. Party crit damage up 30% while he's on the field. He like there are servants that do the same shit, but A, he's a berserker, and B, he still just does it better than them. Looking at you, Rama. And also, chat. Are you a fan of Bleach? Are you a fan of Bleach? You can't look at this character and say it does not scream like Bleach aesthetics. He looks like a mix of Grimmjow and Renji. And I like Renji, not one of my favorite characters, but I do like his design. Grimmjow, he is one of my favorite characters. And this literally just screams Grimmjow if he didn't have the mask. Like, he has that same fucking vibe. Like, how Kubo draws some of his characters wearing, like, modern clothes. This has that same energy to it. Yeah. So, to end this tier list, we have the brand new 5-star Lohi. 1 second, I just need to save this as the top. So, last servant for the list, Lohi. And brief correction from the recording. I don't know how it slipped and me recording the servant, but I don't think I actually showed Lohi with her getting Oberon's buff. Like, this is what her damage should be, which does line up very much with Riku. So I'm sorry for that review that there is like false information. Like, I don't know how it slipped through. But yeah, no, Lohi's MP damage is very comparable to Riku. But this is base Riku she is very similar to. Not Riku with the defense down ramp up or super effective mods. Or super effective against man. So at base level, Lohi is at least hitting Riku's niche. Or the basic stuff. But yeah, is that enough? Do I think she's actually better than Riku and I have to actually move Riku down? We will see. So, base stack 12.8k. Very healthy. 12 yeah, just a good attack to have. It's definitely up there with the Berserkers, like top 5. HP 12 almost 12k flat. Also, she has the little gnomes. And if you saw like Gnome Mash and Gnome Guriko, just adorable Smurf-like. Her wearing the giant parka and like the antlers, and then Harpy. MP charge 0.54%. MP quick card, 4 hits on 2 quick, 4 hits on the arts, 4 hits on Buster, 5 hit extra attack. So she can be made to do crit because she's double Buster, double quick. But again, this also just works for multi-core because Ruler Scotty also provides AoE buffs. 20% Buster, 20% quick for the entire party. Dodge and grants Darkness Battlefield if you use her in multi-core with servants that have Darkness, Pog, but most of those Darkness servants are already AoE, so maybe you don't need both. Depends. Second skill, AoE stun. No chance, it's just a stun. Removes defensive buffs, poisons them, curses them, healing received down 50% for 5 turns. These lasting for 5 turns and their base number, very nice. Work and synergize well with servants that have niches that involve like DOT. Like if they have like say Jacques de Malay, this is a curse on a skill. This is what Jacques wants. Third skill, 80% battery. Everyone else in the party gets a 20, and crit attack chance down. This is a quick servant, quick berserker with an 80% battery that gets upgraded to 100% with mana loading. You can start with NECE and start the pain train going because Lohi wants to MP the first turn. Unless she's being multi-cored with a Buster Servant or you are critting turn 2, you should be MPing turn 1 with Lohi. Otherwise, you are going to be suffering if you're using arts and quick servants. You're not going to have the refund you want. If you can make it so Lohi like softens characters up, she might not kill, or she might only like might leave one enemy still standing for you to leave alive, whether it's to get more overkill on your other servant's MP. Soften it down. Again, depends on the node. I really like her for the current 90++. It was 100% made for her. And yeah, like if you look at like Loki teams for the 90++, you can see like what this kind of character is supposed to be doing. Buster up 6%, magic resist up 20%, arts up 10%. Necessity, if you want to start from 0 on turn 1. Necessity. Anything else is just butter. MP 6 hit AoE quick. MP gen up 20% for 3 turns for herself, and then she gives it to the party. MP damage up 20%, lasts for 3 turns, and then she gives it to the party. Why is this 2 different things, and why didn't they just say for the party? I have no fucking idea. Maybe in the off case that they buff this servant, they might make the numbers different, depending if she's giving it or she's receiving it. Bonsi, MP gen up 10%, MP damage up 10%. Right now, she is just a little too new. Oh, shit. I actually forgot the original reason I stopped the recording in the first place. So 1 second. This is just so I can organize it and make future lists a little bit easier to make. Lohi.png. Okay. All right. So, where would I put Lohi? At the very least, right now, she's an A+. She is matching the damage of Riku. And her having 100% battery helps her out way more than it really should. It makes her lower refund not an issue. But it's still something you have to take into consideration because Riku and Black Rail lose like 70% against casters. Wave 1, Lohi was in the 40s. So there is a very wide gap for what Riku can get away with. With like because she's supposed to be getting all the buffs versus Lohi, who might not be getting all the card buffs. Because, like I said, she's multi-core, and Ruler Scotty gives out a whole bunch of AoE card buffs. Like her second skill is literally AoE, but her first skill is single target. All my testing of Lohi was with full buffs, like treating her like she's Riku. But most people are not going to use her like she's Riku. She definitely has potential to move up to EX and not be there as a AoE quick farmer, but as a sub DPS / support. But right now, I'm leaving her at A plus, but this is something I might probably move around. Not the next update, but the one I do in January. I probably will move her around based on how I'm feeling on her. But this is the Berserker list. The only one that's really on here that you can move to don't use is Cat, but even Cat kinda at least has a use. It's like she's still a tanky Berserker. And if you're up against like easy content, like you're just clearing through the game, like Cat's not the worst character you can be using. Like Berserkers just do good damage against whatever you throw at them. It's like different than assassins. That a shitty assassin you're not gonna want to use against anyone else, but a shitty Berserker at least is gonna do more damage against riders than a shitty assassin, right? All right. That's it for recording today. And that is the 7 night class tier list done. Extra class are gonna come out later this week just because I have the extra time. I will see you guys later. Peace. Thank you for making it to the end of this video. If you enjoyed, drop a like or sub. Hope to see you in the next one. Peace.